Where's my buttons at? Nope, wrong one. I want. Hi, how you doing? The whole world melted down about 10 seconds before I went live, and I'm not even joking. In fact, I'm watching my computer glitch out, sitting there running. So we're going to do the best we can with what we have, which happens to be a couple of videos and a topic. So I'm going to drop the link in chat. We're going to discuss the hitherto's, why fors, and for what reasons people go missing or ever lost, and are sometimes found in the strangest of locations, strangest of circumstances, with some very interesting stories to boot. Some of my favorite are the way some children claim that they've gone missing and been taken care of by bears. Okay. So we're going to check it out, see what we can find. As soon as I figure out which one of these is actually in control of what I'm doing, because everything crashed right before I went live. I can't even tell if y'all can see that. Okay, I've seen worse. Screw it. We're not doing a freaking show anyway, are we? We're going to discuss this crap. I'm going to do this thing. The first video we're going to check out today is Living History's Mysteries. Posted a video about time travel and proof that time travel has been discovered and various little weirdnesses that's been discovered in the past. Hey, PC Audits, welcome to the show. Who we got? We got some peoples in here. We got American Justice, who has the. There's somebody in here before that. American Justice of Texas gets the gold. Mama Nolan gets the silver. As If It's Your Business gets the bronze. Way to go, folks. Wandering Hippies come in. Cheese Bear, the Wandering Mod. Awesome. It's good to see you. Shari Lives. Shari I'm sorry. I'm a moron. I'm two morons in a trench coat. PC Audits is here. It's good to see y'all. All right. So like I said, I've got a video picked out. We're going to kind of roll through it. I'm going to tinker with some sound stuff. I'm going to tinker with some video stuff. And assuming my computer doesn't just completely crash, we might actually be able to have a conversation about it afterwards. So, yeah, man. Like I said, Drew made a video. We're going to check it out before we do anything else, because I said I would, said I wanted to. It's really neat. I really dig it. It's cool beans. So, I did that. I did not do that. There we go. Do that thing. Don't crash. Just work for just a little bit longer to be fine. All right, how's my sound? Is my sound acceptable? Is it acceptably terrible? Terribly acceptable? I don't know. Whichever way it goes. 5x5, 4x5, 3x5, none by 5. I sound like a braying warthog. What's going on with the sound? There may be a little bit of an echo, because it seems like when I unhook my microphone to try to stop that echo, it freaks out my computer. I was doing it right before I'd go live, and everything would work out fairly well, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it, yo. I'm not one of these tech geniuses. Ooh, that's loud as hell. Oh, this is going to end badly, I can tell. This is going to go great. Are you freaking up again? That's what's happening. My signal's fine. Everything's fine over here. It's my laptop freaking up.
Hey guys and gals, it's your buddy Drew from Living History's Mysteries and the Midwest Parahistoric Society. You know, one of the biggest hopes and prayers in the science community during
See, I don't even know what's causing that.
the 20th century has been that
Because that's not internet based. That's happening both up here and over here, but it's not happening in my phone at all. That's just my laptop fruiting up.
hope that we would be able to develop time travel, to go forward in time, to see the things to come, to see the mistakes that we're going to make and try to fix them before we make them, or going back in time and seeing some of those errors of our ways and trying to correct them so maybe the modern day is a little bit more advanced or a little bit less of a challenge than what it really is. Physicists like Dr. Einstein
My
developed
blenders are getting
theorem
clean.
after theorem that time travel was possible. But you still have those people out there that want to argue the point. Today, we're going to take a look at 10 pieces of evidence that have occurred through history that point to the fact that time travel is possible. Make your own decision. You know, base it off fact, base it off a gut feeling. Me personally, I feel like there have been too many instances to not give it some serious thought. Let's check this out. It's pretty good. Catch you at the end.
Since ancient times, people tried to explain numerous miraculous things that exist on our planet. Many people to this day do not believe that one can travel through time, but the physicists seem to not agree with them. Even Albert Einstein claimed that people can take a trip through time. He recognized time travel as an idea that could be applied to his theory of relativity. The majority of such things have yet to be explained scientifically. However, there are still some phenomena that are hard to believe. We, at Smart as the New Sexy, believe that our adventure through time has taken the most serious turn. Let's look closely at 10 best examples it actually exists. The man from the year 2256. In 2003, according to Weekly World News Post, the FBI arrested a man accused of Security and Exchange Commission's violations. He was charged with making 126 high-risk stock trades. Every single trade was successful. Having only $800 as an initial investment, he earned $350 million through his...
How you doing, brother? Why are you muted? I can't hear you. I don't hear you. Huh. Here, I'll let this play while we figure it out.
Deals. After being arrested, he was interrogated by the police. Andrew said that he received the data from the future, and being a traveler from
Just holler out when you get there.
he knew all the information about stock trades. He took advantage of it. When asked, he refused to tell the location of the time machine for fear that the technology of the future could end in the wrong hands. FBI couldn't trace the origins of the man before 2002. No one knew where he came from. In 2003, a stranger paid a bail of $1 million for him, and Andrew Carlson was released.
I think I can hear you now, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. All right, good
Cool.
deal. Is there a weird echo going on with me?
I don't hear anything myself, but doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right before I went live, the computer fruited up on me, and I think my phone ended up in control of the stream. And I'm not sure why or how that happened. So now, like, everything's controlled through my phone, and I'm having to, like, try to do it, and then I have to go and do it on the other side over here, because anyway, it doesn't matter. What you got going on, brother? You muted yourself again.
Just getting back to my normal role of, joining the channels I like to join. So here I am. I even got here early before you came up so that I might hang out, see the show, see the cool people.
Yeah, man. I actually tried to do a little bit of networking on this one, and my ability to tell time and dates is completely useless. So I was talking to somebody about my dad's birthday, which is today, and I was trying to not arrange it on my dad's birthday. So I went through and I set up the scheduling while I was on the phone with somebody, and I scheduled it for 8 p.m. on his birthday. It was like, okay. And then I told everybody it was yesterday, and so I sent out emails to everybody inviting them up yesterday. So none of that worked.
Hey, listen, you might see me in my streams sometimes. I don't even know. I was asking people what day it was yesterday. Like, I don't even know what freaking day it is, bro. You're like a
New York, didn't you?
You're like a college graduate at this stuff compared to me. I'm like still in elementary school.
Dude, I don't know. I seem to be pushing my computer a little harder than it's designed to go.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe I've just got some wacky code going on in here. I'm gonna go through and do some cleansing on it before I start Sasquatch Shills 3.
Gotcha.
The stage for more shilling.
Well, I mean, my computer isn't that great. It don't even have a video card in it. It's just like a giant iPad. It's a big monitor, but it's touchscreen.
But it works.
Say it again.
Right? It works.
It has its moments. Like, it's funny that you said how you had a problem, because earlier I made OBS work with a moving background. You know, I've got my virtual on right now. That's a green screen. Well, I had OBS work, and I was running my video in my background on the OBS. And I went to run my live show this morning. I had it all working great. I went out in the other room to do a few things before I get ready to start a live. I come back in. OBS isn't working. I can't make it work. Right? I'm like, what the frick?
I got started. I hooked up. I managed to get all of the stuff working up. Smooth as silk. Everything's fine. All of a sudden, total freaking meltdown. I had to Control Alt Delete and restart. And that's the first time I've ever had to do that with this computer. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. But yeah, I'm gonna go through. I got a couple of cheeky apps in here. I'm not real fond of. I'm gonna go claw them out of the operating system. I recently updated to Windows 11, 12, 15, Hutton, whatever it was. And
Windows 10?
I think it's maybe Windows 10.
Okay.
And
because I just stepped up to Windows 10, and it made a big difference on the this green screen background here. Like it didn't really work before. But
I'm gonna tell you, man. I had this the classic desktop where it gives you a different beautiful picture every day. You know, I had one of those going on. Ever since I upgraded, it doesn't work. It pops me up a picture, and then the picture slowly melts down over about 20 minutes. It just blocks out eventually. It's a
Huh.
really weird thing. I don't know what the hell to make of it.
Huh.
It's really weird. Anyway, but what we're doing is I have a few videos picked out, and we're gonna try to watch the video that Drew from Living History's Mysteries made, which is proof of time travel. We're going to check that out. And then we're going to go into some missing persons, unsolved cases from Southern Girl crime stories. And then if anybody wow, Cheese is working it today. Look at that.
Holy smoker.
He is doing it. But if anybody has any known missing persons cases from your local area, drop a link if you can. Try to toss us enough information to find it. I'll try to search it out. We'll see if we can get it up on screen. I would prefer to avoid children just in general, unless it's like very freshly recent, where there's actually some, hope. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Drew did this thing, and I think it's pretty neat.
He didn't attend a court meeting where his lawyer was waiting for him and disappeared since then. 9. The mystery of the 1940s time traveler. This photograph is also known as a modern hipster photograph. It was among the first ones that started all these time-traveling rumors. 70 years after the photo was taken, it took on a life of its own. Conspiracy theorists spun arguments for the existence of time travel. Photography enthusiasts disputed the photo's authenticity. This photo shows people attending the reopening of the South Forks Bridge in British Columbia in 1941. Among the crowd stands a man who is dressed absolutely not accordingly to 1940s fashion. You can spot a zipped hoodie, a t-shirt with a 21st century style logo, and a portable camera in his hands. Some people are sure he was a time traveler caught on film. 8. Sir Goddard Squadron.
More goat.
One of the famous photos still promoted as a real piece of photographic evidence for time travel is known as the Ghost of Goddard Squadron. Allegedly the spirit of a dead chap named Freddie Jackson. In the top row, if you look closely, you'll see that behind one of the sailor's head is a ghostly face. The photo album of Sir Goddard's Squadron, who fought in the World War I, contains one strange photograph. After the development of the photo, all the squad members recognized a person standing in the back row as their friend, Freddie Jackson, who died 2 days before the picture was taken. The squadron was photographed on the day of Freddie's funeral. However, he wouldn't miss the squadron photo. 7. The 17th Century Astronaut. The new Cathedral of Salamanca in Spain is a great surprise within its walls for those who seek the evidence that time travel exists. There is a sculpture of an astronaut on one of the pillars inside the cathedral. It was constructed between the 16th and 18th centuries in two styles, late Gothic and Baroque. However, this sculpture has nothing to do with both of these styles. How did it appear? The figure anticipates with amazing accuracy a form of technology not realized until centuries later. Interesting to know that the suit of the space traveler looks exactly like modern versions of what they wear in space. Does traveling back in time really exist? Or maybe there's another clue to this mystery. So far, no one knows exactly how it appeared there. 6. The Time Traveler.
I'm telling you, you shouldn't be here.
In 1950, a 20-year-old man with mutton chop sideburns and Victorian-era duds appeared in Times Square. Witnesses said he looked startled and disoriented, and then a minute later, he was hit by a taxi and killed. The officials at the morgue searched his body and found the items in his pockets that showed no signs of aging. A copper token for a beer worth 5 cents, bearing the name of a saloon, which was unknown even to older residents of the area. A bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage, drawn by a livery stable on Lexington Avenue that was not listed in any address book. About $70 in old banknotes. A business card with the name Rudolph Fence and an address on Fifth Avenue. When the police searched for some data about Fence, they found out that the man had disappeared in 1876. Spooky, huh? Maybe he didn't disappear, but traveled to the future through time.
Are you familiar with the case of the guy who appeared in Times Square?
No.
Okay. So, the mid 50s, like I think it was 53. They were just showing that one. There was a some kind of shindig going on in Times Square, which used to happen just about every weekend back in the day. They had all kinds of crap. There were fairs, and it was not unlike Coney Island for a while. With all the little barkers and hawkers and stuff standing out there because it was Times Square. Everybody wanted to go to Times Square, right? So there was an event where a guy pops up, just seems to fall out of the air. People said he fell to the pavement, stood up, very confused, and was walking around wearing clothes that were at least 10 or 15 years out of date. All of his money was 10 or 15 years out of date. His ID was 15 years out of date, but there he was standing in front of us. He wanders off into history and just disappears. This is one of the cases for time travel, right? And I was going to list him. That was exactly the case I was going to list for the family. Because, you've got missing people, you have lost people, and then you have people who are found. And the found doesn't really fall under a category. It's just those people who left were gone for a moment and came back from whatever experience it was, whether it was kidnapping, trafficking, whatever it is. They left and they came back. And one of the cases that I've got picked out, if we make it that far, is about a kid who gets kidnapped, and then his brother goes barmy after he comes back from his kidnapping experience. He has to come home to a multiple murder experience that takes place right after he comes home from his kidnapping. It's horrible. It's a horrible story. There's no fun, no good part of it.
Cheese said, was it 10 or 15 years from the past or future? Because I think he said past.
He was from the past. He had items in his possession that were 15 years out of date. They were 15 years behind.
Which, when you think about it, I mean, doesn't seem that out of the ordinary. I mean, I'm 55. I could easily.
But look at it from this perspective. If you were going to be sending a time traveler back and you missed, you might only miss in 10 or 15 years. So him falling, being a little out of place and a little off level, falling 3 or 4 feet and bumping his head when he hits the ground and suddenly being extremely confused.
Right. I forgot the falling part too. That
Right.
definitely adds a little
Right. So,
weirdness to it.
yeah, it's a cool story. I dig it. But that was going to be one of them. I was going to do a triple look at 3 different videos that do it, that cover it, because I mean, if somebody can do it better, why not check them out? Right. All right. We're going to start this back up. Are you familiar about the man from Tuareg?
Doesn't sound familiar.
All right. This is another example of someone who was lost and became found. Or rather, let me rephrase that. My man was never lost. He just got found. Check out the story. It's real cool.
5. The Man from Torrid. One of the most perplexing events of the 20th century happened in July 1954 at Haneda Airport, Tokyo. At the customs, a neatly dressed middle-aged Caucasian man told officials he was on a regular business trip. His primary language was French, yet he spoke Japanese and several other languages. He possessed a variety of currencies from various European countries in his wallet. When the officials asked him for his country of origin, things became mysterious. He stated that he was from Torrid, that is situated on the border between France and Spain. According to him, it existed for more than 1,000 years. The officials told him that it didn't exist, but he presented them with his passport that also showed visa stamps, proving his previous business travels to Japan and other countries. The company he was having a meeting with never heard of him, although he had copious amounts of documentation to prove his point. The hotel had no reservation for his name. The customs officials gave a room for the man, but the next morning everything got worse. The man completely vanished from the room, as well as his personal things from the airport's security room. Could this be a time traveler from another dimension? Four.
What do you think about that one? You're muted again, bro. You have to unmute yourself. You're muted.
God damn this mute.
There you go.
My quick reaction is, of course, because I'm like a cop watcher and all that, is that he was a government agent, and they whisked him away like magic, and he disappeared into nowhere.
A lot of people want to say that he was a CIA agent that went rogue and got the wrong package with the wrong information. But here's the problem with that. It would take someone that doesn't know Europe and isn't doing it professionally to make the error of including a country that simply does not exist.
What's up,
Right?
April? Sorry.
Hey, April, welcome to the show. American Justice, good to see you. How you doing? So, I was thinking maybe KGB operative or something along those lines, Spetsnaz. Somebody who used some local
government,
talent.
any government, right? That's how we do it. We raise kids from when they're born to be secret agents and live. There's that story of that little girl. She's like Russian or something, and they like raised her as a child right from like when she could speak. They taught her to speak different languages and blah 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 blah.
The film Nikita, that's also the story of Black Widow in Marvel.
But then I guess you could look at it as if they were here as aliens, like going from country to country, checking out everything, grabbing some of our money, hanging with our women.
Why not, right? They're willing. All right. So this next one has to do with the mummy that wore Adidas.
What? Wait,
Adidas
what?
sneakers on a 1500.
Come
Look,
on.
he's got Adidas prints on his feet. I personally
Wow.
think it's a missing person that was found,
Right?
unidentified.
Year-old mummy. The discovery of the first complete Turkic burial in Central Asia revealed a 1500-year-old mummy wearing the shoes that look very much like a pair of Adidas sneakers. COVID museum researcher B. Sukbatar says, "We can date the burial by the things we have found there, also the type of hat. It gives us a preliminary date of around the 6th century AD. In April 2016, the fashion-forward mummy was found wearing a pair of knee-high felt boots that are striped with a black and red pattern, featuring leather soles and decorative buckles. Along with her body, they also discovered a mirror and a clutch bag. Now, scientists have discovered that the mummy suffered a significant blow to the head before her death. Could this be an unlucky time traveler trying to come back and died trying? We'll never know. But we know for sure that this
So let me get this straight. Y'all found a mummified corpse in a sarcophagus wearing a pair of Adidas with a head wound to the back of the head. And your assumption was time travel?
Right? I mean,
But then-
there's a lot of assumption there too. There's assumption that Adidas, because they got what, white lines
Right,
on
the
them.
white lines on the sides. Well, they look like sandals to me. Just standard Jesus cruisers, you know.
I mean, I feel like this one's just the throw-in one. You know what I mean? It's not even really in line with the rest of them.
Not quite. I don't know about the rest of them. There's 10 of them, and you know how far are you willing to go to suspend
Who
disbelief?
does this? What's the name of the?
This is Living Histories Mysteries. I have
Okay.
his link over here somewhere.
So he does all the videos.
I'm not
And
sure how much of this he did. He didn't do the
pretty
narration.
good work if he's throwing the shit together. I'm just saying.
I think he did throw it together a few years ago when on his last channel. He had a previous channel, kind of like you did.
Yep.
But, those cheap Adidas wouldn't last 10 years, let alone that long. Yeah, right. That's pretty good stuff, Cheesy. I like it. But let's see what he got to say.
mummy had style. And apparently liked to go running. 3. A plane from the future. In 1935, Air Marshal Sir Robert Victor Goddard examined an abandoned airport in Edinburgh, Scotland. And there he experienced his fair share of supernatural. On the way home, he got into a storm and had to go back to the airport for shelter. He passed over an airfield in Dram, Scotland. The old airport seemed very lively and operational. He could see mechanics and 4 planes, each painted yellow, sat on the runway. On the landing
Good to see you, PC.
he hadn't
Take care,
seen,
brother.
though he was familiar with most of the plane types of that time. He stated that RAF had none of these airplanes in 1935. 4 years later, Goddard was sent to that airport again. He saw the same airplane that he'd been unable to recognize in 1935. The model was called Miles Magister. The production of this model began in 1937, almost 3 years after Goddard saw it for the first time. Is it possible that he visited the future for several hours and returned back in his time? Two, a time portal in Versailles. In 1911, Moberly and Jourdain published a book that caused a sensation and was subject to much ridicule. Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, the two authors of the book, claim that they traveled in time while visiting the Palace of Versailles. It should be noted that they both work at St. Hugh's College in Oxford, so their words should be taken seriously.
Okay.
The 10th of August.
We got a previous guest in chat right now. Bigfoot and Nine just showed up.
Nice.
That's Connor. He wrote a book. He released another book recently, like last week sometime.
Really?
Yeah, he's been
Awesome.
hunting Bigfoot down in the Florida Panhandle for a while. He's good people. If you ever get a chance to hop into a stream with him, do it. He's an excellent talker. Like,
Oh yeah.
he'll talk
Cool.
you hear often. He knows stuff too. It's not just that he talks. He knows things. You know. I can't hardly tell you what, but it's stuff.
I mean, everybody knows more stuff than Grandpa.
Yeah, but I mean, he can convey it well, is what I'm saying. Like
Right.
he not only knows it, he can tell you how he knows it. I guess you could say.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
August 1901, they traveled by train to Versailles. While walking through the gardens, they missed a turn and found themselves on an unfamiliar path. At this point, they claim that a feeling of oppression and dreariness came over them. Moberly and Jourdain saw people working in the garden, walking beside them, but the dresses appeared to be old-fashioned. There was also a man who slowly turned his face, which was marked by smallpox. The expression was evil and yet unseeing, and they did not feel that he was looking particularly at them. After this, they approached the main entrance and joined their group of visitors. Several months later, they decided to write their encounters separately and compare. Every piece of memory was the same. On their next visit to Versailles, they didn't experience anything similar. According to their portrayal of a man, he looked very similar to Marie Antoinette's close friend. In their book, both ladies claim that they had more paranormal experiences after the incident. Could this be a time slip they got caught into and saw ghosts from the past?
I had
All right,
a
so that's
Go ahead.
one of my theories as far as ghosts and the traditional hauntings you hear about is
Okay.
events being imprinted on an area. I don't see a particular reason why that wouldn't be something that can happen.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
Mr.
I
Welcome to
had
the
some
show.
ghost type experience once in my life, and I felt something really cold come over me, and it was in a dark house. There was no power. It was like an old haunted house. The people who lived in the house were missing in Alaska, was the story. So again,
Wow.
like you just said, the story, is a little bit led just by the fact that they were missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ran outside of the house, and my wife and I were kids when this happened, and she was outside, and I wasn't a guy who got scared very often, but I felt like something was there. So do I feel like there could be ghosts or things? Definitely. It makes even more sense where they were missing. Like, what if somebody horribly murdered them, and that's why they're whatever is
Yeah.
here,
They were likely stuck in a cistern out back, and you were just wandering around over their corpses all leaving.
Right? I mean, that's the thing.
Right? Yeah. No, that's creepy as all get out. Many moons ago, I went on a ghost hunt with some fellers, and they were kind of doofy kind of kids. I think I was 19, 20. They were 16, 17. And there's this old abandoned ice plant that's out in the middle of freaking nowhere over here, right? You're gonna need a story there, Cheesy. I'll tell you a story. So we go out there, and there's 6 of us, right? Two of them stay with the vehicle because, you know, I don't know, they chickened out or whatever. So me, this other dude, this chick, and this a really young kid who was probably the ballsiest one out of everybody. He was maybe 11 or 10, but he wanted to go. He really wanted to go. So they're all out there with these night vision camera things, filming around here and there, trying to get EMPs, EVPs, and PCPs, and everything else they could find, right? And the thing about this ice plant is like everybody knows it's there, and it's right next to the river, right? So hobos sometimes stay in the old ice vault, right? And so like when I first got there, I noticed there was these two Coronas sitting out right outside the door, and after doing some stuff, I turned around and those two Coronas were gone. They just disappeared, right? And I was like, okay, all right. So there's at least one person here, probably two, and this is going to be the best ghost hunt ever, right? This is going to be great. So keep in mind, these people are using night vision cameras. They're not making any light, right? Yeah. I'm walking around with a little bitty pin light that I keep covered with my hand and only open enough to see what's right in front of me for just a second, right? You know, and so I'm creeping around in there, and I went all the way back to the ice vault, and the other three guys were like just going through, checking all the stairs, looking at the entrances, the exits, the old train track area, the lay down yard, all that stuff. And I just went straight to the vault because I knew where it was at. And I went in there and opened up the door and checked it out. And there's this dude sitting in there with his Corona on a cooler. And I said, hey, man, we'll be out of your hair in just a few minutes. They're ghost hunting. He's like, there ain't no damn ghost in here. There's two more hobos running out to the river right now. They thought you were cops.
Like, with your two Corona.
Right? I said, I'm going to shut the door and I just won't let them come in here. He said, I'd really appreciate it. I said, all right, man, you have a good evening. We wandered around the whole place for a while and had some big old time. They all got creeped out as all get. You know, it was a good old time. We had fun.
Sounds like it. I think I'd be a little nervous to go in a big old building like you're explaining as a kid. Like, well, I'm where I grew up, there's nothing bigger than a 3-story building. Cape Cod has rules of nothing over 3 stories because we're historic. So the only 5-story building on Cape Cod actually does one exist, but it's a military base. So of course,
this thing might have been 5 stories tall, but it's all one big room except for like the part that's almost underground, the ice vault itself.
Right. Wow.
And it's, I don't know, hell, it might be 1,200 square foot. It's huge. Right. It's enormous. But it's like the only dry place left in there. Everywhere else kind of drips and leaks a little bit. So if it rains a little bit, it's a dry spot you can go camp out in. It's a good place as far as like taking a nap or something. Nobody ever goes out there unless they're ghost hunting.
There's no such thing as abandon anything out here, really, because it's the land is so valuable. Yeah,
I guess you're right.
Knock shit down and builds on it. You know, crazy.
Well, this wasn't so much abandoned as it was destroyed back in a flood.
Corn bomb.
Like mid-20s. Ooh, hold on. Let me get you up big screen. That's 25 views right there, bud. Hell yeah.
Then you can see her eyes.
Subscribe.
Look at her eyes when they're fire because her eyes are green. So when you look at her eyes, I can't get her to look at you, but they're all fire. So, look at that.
There it is. Yeah. That's crazy. Demon kitty. I hear you.
Yeah, I love animals.
There's a few more minutes left of this. We've got let's see. I think we got about 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes.
The Hutton Brant Premonition. In 1932, journalist J. Bernard Hutton and photographer Joachim Brandt went to the Hamburg-Altona shipyard area to do a report. They saw a glimpse of the future during their routine assignment. They came back scared and shocked, telling everyone about the air attack in the city of Hamburg. Brandt claimed he took photographs of the place. Mind that the war didn't start for another 7 years. However, when he developed the photos, there was nothing on them. Neither the signs of an air raid nor any other kind of attack. 11 years later, Hutton read information in a London newspaper about the bombing of Hamburg called Operation Gomorrah. We don't know if it was a coincidence, but Hutton claimed that he saw exactly the same attack in 1932.
Wow.
That's neat. I like that.
Yeah.
We got you covered. I love Drew. He's great.
Everyone I hear,
Right?
the topic of time travel has always been fascinating to humans. It's probably due to the fact that we are just as fixated on the events of the past as we are of the future. Just imagine traveling to the past, or imagine someone from the future showing up through a portal in your home. I will be telling you 5 stories of creepy interdimensional travel. Each of these stories will follow up with the time travel caught on tape. Enjoy. In this first video, it appears to be a portal appearing. The video is captured on a vehicle's backup camera. The portal begins opening as a horizontal swirling mirage appears in front of a concrete wall. 2 males come walking out of the portal. Then a second portal opens and 1 male walks out. The person that captured this video claims to believe it's 100% true. You see for yourself. In 2006, as Carol
Portals? What do you think about portals?
Somebody would have fell into them. You'd think we would have known about it if there was such a thing.
You would figure. So I kind of tend to believe that if there are portals, that they go elsewhere and don't so much come here very often.
Right.
They go, they don't come.
Well, I could always believe the fact that, when you watch NASA and they show that the darkest spot in the sky, and then they send the Hubble telescope to look there, and they see all these galaxies like ours, and they suspect there's 10 billion galaxies
Right.
just in that one dark spot. Now, to say that there isn't more intelligent life than us and all of that.
Wait, I don't believe we are intelligent life.
Well, there you go. I mean, you know what I'm saying. So to think that even time travel, like Untethered said, well, there'd be a ripple in time that would probably ruin everything, which kind of makes sense. But what if they're so intelligent that they know that and they go around that? I mean, so you could always kind of.
Well, if it curls back on itself and destroys the universe, then there wouldn't be any future to have time travel. I personally believe that any dimension that successfully creates time travel inevitably uses it, thereby undoing their own timeline.
What's
It's
up,
sort of a
Hawk fan?
conservation of energy concept. You can only exist forward in the timeline that doesn't actually have time travel in it. All the rest of them loop back on themselves and become the impetus to push time forward. Kind of like a rocket ship.
Right. Well,
there's got to be some kind of self-regulation in it, or else it would have happened already, right?
what do you think about, like, Michio Kachu's says he believes there's 4 or 5 different dimensions right now. There be all us operating under different decisions and different worldly
You're
things.
talking about the plurality of worlds, multiple dimensions, and parallel. That's exactly what I was talking about there being a quantum flux of possibility And what creates time is the failure of the various universes that don't make it. The ones that are legit and are real move forward in time, but only the one that doesn't invent time travel and destroy itself, doesn't go into a cold death, doesn't go into a heat death, and doesn't have entropy run out of craziness. Only those continue forward. And it may have to do with perception. It may be possible that the only way time has any meaning at all is if it is perceived by a rational being, which would remain to be seen whether we qualify as a rational being.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I played a famous video of a guy on YouTube. And the question is, what is time and is it real? And he pretty much explains the fact that there even is a such thing as time. Pretty interesting video. I did kind of like you doing here. I played it, stopped, talked about it, played it, and.
Well, I talked to Drew beforehand. I sat and watched this video.
No, I understand that.
And after watching it, I sat there for a little while. And I was like, he touches on 4 of the cases I wanted to look at. I don't even have to go do the work. It's already done. I can just react to that and bring somebody in to come have a little chit chat about it.
Yeah, I mean, I dig it. I dig his editing. I dig his voice. I dig the content. I think he's right on point.
It's beautifully done. All of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He may have poached it from some other source. I don't know. But, I mean, it's really neat. I like it.
Hey, just like me, I can see a light in your glasses. I have a big light above my head, too. That's what makes this background work. I can see a big white circle up above it. That's what makes this work. If it weren't for that bright light, this don't work.
Yeah. Well, somebody told me once, you're not a real YouTuber until someone buys you a ring light. And I was like, well, that's weird. And I don't know, a week later, my daughter bought me a ring light. She's like, you're going to need this here. I was like, okay. All right. I don't know. We'll see.
I dig it, bro.
Yeah, man. All right. We're going to go back to the video.
Yeah.
Chase McKinley was driving from Paris, California, back to her home in San Bernardino. She claimed she decided to stop in her hometown of Riverside. It didn't take long, however, for Carol to realize she wasn't in the right town, although its geographical location was correct. She claimed she couldn't find her childhood home or those of her other family members.
Nice house.
Even though all the numbers were still correct.
Yeah.
Cemetery where her grandparents were buried.
Wait a second. Let me get this straight. You mean tell me she went off alone and then couldn't find her way home? And that when she tried to come home, she found some other places. Now, I want some of what she was on, man.
I need some of that too. Yeah, shit.
Because let me tell you, after I cracked my skull open, I went to go get my hair trimmed one afternoon. This is maybe 3 or 4 weeks after I had my concussion. I went down there, no problem, talked to the guy, had my hair trimmed, was on my way home and realized that I had no freaking idea where the hell I was at. I had to wander around for a good 20 minutes before I finally realized, wait a second, I know what happened. I took a left instead of a right when I came out the door. So I had walked around the wrong side of the block without realizing that I had made an error back there. I was like texting on my phone or something. Looked up, completely lost. It was very disturbing.
I was lost 1,000 times in the last week. I was in New York City for a few days, and
yeah, I saw that. You was having fun.
Talk about freaking getting lost, brother. Oh shit.
Well, how lost could you be
in New York City? Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're only 100 blocks from anything and everything.
The thing about New York City is it's kind of like Boston. If you make a wrong turn, the GPS will reroute you, but it'll be like 3 miles out of the way. You know what I mean? And by that time, you pay 3 tolls and, friggin'
it costs you $15 to make another loop. And you're still lost.
And yes, exactly. I just paid $9 and I'm still lost. So true.
Oh, that's terrible.
$16 to go through the freaking Lincoln Tunnel to get into the city. $16. What the fuck? I mean, this
Well,
should
they
be
got to gouge you some kind of how, man.
it should be like, I don't know, passing out weed for that fucking money.
Right? You ought to get a free joint right at the freaking
Right?
gate.
Yeah. Here's a nice fatty for you, sir. Have a great day.
There you go. Hey, I bet that'd cut down on crime immediately.
Right?
Everybody'd just be high and giggling. They wouldn't be stabbing each other and shit. Full of nuts.
Run it. Let's hear it.
All right, baby. I'm doing it.
Was just a fenced lot full of overgrown weeds. Was she simply in the wrong town? This would be a strong theory had she not found some landmarks that were familiar, such as the college and the middle school. However, her relief in finding something recognizable was short-lived, as she soon noticed the eerie vibe surrounding the Riverside residents who were walking around. She soon left, afraid to
What
approach
the?
any of these sinister beings.
The guy with a
Believed she had stumbled upon a parallel
something
dimension.
head on there. What the fuck?
Riverside was a much darker place.
A werewolf helmet.
Confirmed because when she returned to Riverside a few years later for her father's funeral, it had reverted back to the town she knew as
Isn't it?
She never encountered the
Isn't there a
alternative.
werewolf head on that guy in the front left? The hell?
Yeah. Let's back that up. I want to see it. I want to see it. But that's not creepy at all.
Right? So, is this the guy talking that, or is this just
no,
all
I don't think this is not Drew doing the narration. I'm not sure how he went about putting this together, but
Gotcha.
he uploaded it 2 or 3 days ago, and I usually try to wait at least a couple of months before I review something so that it gets as many views as it can get, you know?
Right. I don't know. I love it. I dig it.
Hey, work line. We call that the Langoliers theory.
Entropy is black. Cannot go back in time as it happened, and casualty is why you cannot go to the future. Oh, causality. Yeah.
Right. We call that the Langoliers theory. Basically, the universe is undone in the past and hasn't done in the future. And we are the waveform of causality taking shape in the present.
Oh, wait, somebody.
Don't get me started on quantum effects, man. I can talk all night about it.
Apparently, Hawkfan knows who it is. He said the actor's name is Ryan Hurst. I don't know.
Yep. He says I look like this guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Ah.
I figured I kind of look like the Big Lebowski.
I get that a lot. I think it was last night or the night before people were calling me the Big Lebowski. I don't mind. Call me anything but late for dinner.
Right? I don't give a damn. As long as the check clears. I don't give a shit.
Left, afraid to approach any of these sinister beings. Carol believes she had stumbled upon a parallel dimension in which Riverside was a much darker place. Her story can't be confirmed because when she returned to Riverside a few years later for her father's funeral, it had reverted back to the town she knew as a child. She never encountered the alternative dimension Riverside again. At this soccer match, the camera will pan up to the crowd. In the crowd, you can see an individual running at high speeds through the stands. This is thought to be a time traveler warping into a portal. Check it out. In July 2008, a well-educated 41-year-old woman named Lorena Garcia woke up in her bed on what seemed like an ordinary day. However, as she went on with her normal routine, she claimed she found small details that seemed peculiar. For example, her sheets and pajamas were different from what she had remembered wearing to bed. She resolved and drove to her place of work, where she had been employed for 20 years. However, upon arriving at her department, she realized it wasn't actually her department, despite being in its usual location on its usual floor. Having decided that something weird.
All right. So she was working for a CIA front, and they moved stop overnight, but didn't tell the new crew coming in that they were leaving.
She didn't get the email to fucking move to the next office.
Man, we really need some competent government spies. This is getting
right.
Crazy. Hey, I got another theory. Do you remember several years ago when the big ghost hunting craze took off? There was this one crew that went and ghost hunted on like the USS Hornet, and they had all kinds of crazy activity, including like hot spots, cold spots, handprints, all kinds of stuff. I always figured that was like SEAL team fucking with them.
Right?
Right. They had some black ops people in there just training while the ghost hunters are running around just, for good training.
Right? Like spoofing them that they're a ghost, putting hot spots. And...
Think about it. If you're trying to train a super spec ops team, what better test method than a ghost hunting squad looking for anything out of place?
I will clean out my work emails daily from now on.
All right, we got just a little bit left of this.
Let's do it.
Was definitely going on. She returned home only to find the man from who she says she had separated 6 months before, who acted like the separation had never taken place. Her new lover, who she claimed she had been seeing for 4 months, was nowhere to be found. Even after hiring a private detective, his whereabouts remain unknown. There was no trace of him at his alleged residence, nor any traces of his family. While it seems more likely that Garcia's perceptions are the result of some neurological malfunction, she believes she woke up in a parallel universe. Unfortunately, for the alleged dimensional traveler, Garcia has not been able to return to her normal universe, leaving her stuck in a dimension where she doesn't belong with a boyfriend she can't get rid of. In 2006, a Swedish man named Hakkan Nordqvist thought it would be a good idea to climb under his sink when he crawled into a portal and momentarily traveled to the year 2042. He was able to meet his 72-year-old self and capture video. Look at the matching tattoos.
All right, hold up. All right. Notice here, that is not the same tattoo twice. That is 2 copies of the same tattoo. They are both equally sharp and well done. That tattoo would have faded, smudged, and smeared over the intervening 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, my tattoo is over 20 years old, but we paid good ink, and today this shit lasts quite long. I don't know. Mine's still pretty. That's almost 25 years ago. It's before they were legal in my state. I don't know, but I get what you're saying. One does look clearly blacker, and even the arms look a different color, like nationality-wise. They're a little bit off. They're not even the same arm. It's stupid. This one.
Yeah, now I'm thinking this is a total hoax because, there's a whole bunch of really corroborating evidence with it that's nice and sleek, and it feels more like a media blitz type thing than a real thing. Have you
Right.
seen the recent time traveler guy who popped up during COVID and was walking around in empty cities where there was no one?
No.
Well,
Sounds.
dude, I'm gonna have to look it up. I may do a whole show on that because it's wild. I think it's bunk, but it's wild.
What's that movie there? Is it Will Smith where him and his dog are the only ones left?
Yeah, that's I Am Legend.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hell on movie trivia.
Oh yeah.
In May 1972, four girls were allegedly driving back to Southern Utah University after spending their Saturday at a rodeo in Porgy while crossing the desolate Utah-Nevada state line at around 10 p.m. They came upon a fork in the highway where they veered to the left and began driving through Gallatin Canyon. Suddenly, the black pavement turned into white cement. Believing they had simply taken the wrong turn, the girls headed back to the way they came. But to their surprise, they were suddenly driving past grain fields and ponderosa pines with no desert in sight. They decided to stop at a roadside tavern to ask for directions, but quickly changed their mind after one of the girls began screaming hysterically. Four egg-shaped vehicles mounted on tricycle wheels with bright lights shining from the top of them began speeding after
Egg-shaped vehicles on
Uh,
three wheels.
I don't know.
That's what she
Kind
said.
kind of an interesting theory,
Well, I mean, this is just what she's reporting. You know, she
right?
reports that this occurred. Uh, I think there were maybe a whole bunch of better drugs back then. I don't know.
So they weren't sharing them with me. If that's the case, I'm just saying.
Hey, that this would be during the whole MK Ultra bit where the CIA was spreading that LSD around a whole bunch, just kind of
That's,
giving it out at parties and stuff.
that's what's in my grow room right now. MK Ultra. Literally, I'm not lying. I'm
No,
not
I know what
lying.
you mean. I know what you mean. I can't wait. I hope they legalize soon because I have
Well, it
talent
just
and skills
passed.
that are
It
being
passed
wasted.
what? It passed the House, and now it's got to pass the Senate, or the other way around. It passed the Senate, now it's got to pass the House.
I don't know if it's going to make it through, dude.
No,
I just maybe. I think it'll take the next cycle.
I guess it'll come down to how much money are the lobbyists willing to put out there to keep weed illegal. That's really what it comes down to, right? I mean,
Yeah, I guess so.
because they're the only ones who
Eventually,
don't want weed to become legal, because we can make energy out of it, we can make plastics out of it, we can do so many amazing things with it.
very, very versatile. I mean, there's more to it than just smoking your head up, is what I'm
Right.
saying. It's not just that. I mean, there's more to it. Anyway.
them. The petrified girls sped back through the canyon as the white cement changed back to its normal black asphalt, leading them into a familiar desert. After wrecking at a creek, leaving them with 3 flat tires, they waited until morning to hike to Highway 56, where they flagged down an obviously skeptical state trooper. As outlandish as their story seemed, the tire tracks they left are difficult to explain. The only tire tracks left by the girl's Chevy ended abruptly only 200 meters into the desert, which leaves the mystery of how the girls ended up over 2 miles north of the highway with no physical evidence.
Sounds like 4-way window pane to me.
Oh, bother.
No, you're
Doing
back
that
now.
thing again. I'm here. I'm operating off of my phone. My laptop's what's been trying to melt down. Yep. That might be the end of the show, folks. Don't know. Let's see.
No.
Hello there. Well, everything else seems to be working.
Travels.
Okay.
There it is.
There you go.
Cap that was never located. Maybe it got lost somewhere in the Utah desert, or maybe it was being displayed at a museum on the parallel Earth.
That sounds like four-way window pane to me. Girls took too much
Right?
acid.
Double dip sunshine.
A vehicle that is not paying attention drives head on into the man. The man appears to drop into a portal and away from the danger of being hit by a car.
We'll have to make do with your stunning intercourse.
Oh,
Lies in the
dear.
Lima, Peru. The
Oh,
stones are almost
dear.
like sculptures, eerie shapes like human faces, but no one is sure how they formed. As if that isn't spooky enough, the real dimensional door that is said to be located in the forest. According to Dr. Raul Rios, Centino,
This score?
of the unexplained in Lima, a patient came to him about her extreme case of hemiplegia, a disorder that results in a complete loss of motor function in half of the body. When he inquired about the woman's condition, she revealed that she had been camping with friends in the Markawasi. According to the patient, they had gone out exploring late in the night and happened upon a torchlit stone cabin filled with dancing revelers in the 17th century attire. The woman said that she felt an otherly world pull toward the cabin, but she was yanked away by one of her friends before she could fully enter. The accident left the side of her body that had entered the cabin paralyzed. Her test results revealed no discernible cause for her paralysis. Centino believes the woman experienced a dimensional shift, producing a change in her nervous system's energy flow. Many natives, as well as scholars, believe that the dimensional doorway exists in the stone forest of Markawazi, which the woman and her friends may have unknowingly crossed. Hemiplegia may not be a great consolidation prize, but had she not pullen away, the woman may have been lost forever. This piece of footage shows a woman what appears to be talking on a cell phone. The thing that makes this footage very creepy is that cell phones were not invented for another 60 years. She displays all the same mannerisms as someone talking on a cell phone. You take a look at the footage and decide for yourself.
Interesting.
What do you think, bud?
Does kind of lead you to believe when you watch it that she is talking on a cell phone. I mean, it's
Let me tell you though. I have seen my daughter running around with the little like transistor style radio,
yeah,
exactly the same way. Now,
right.
she's not a fucking 4-year-old, but
Yeah,
can
but
you
if
see her
cell
listening to
phones
something
weren't
like that?
available for another 30 years, how would you have that notion in your head to make pretend like you're talking on a cell phone?
No, I don't think she's making pretend that she's talking on the phone. I think she's got the radio up to her ear and is walking along listening to, I don't know, baseball or a news broadcast or something.
Right.
Anyway.
Very interesting. I like it. Something looks a little weird about her hand, kind of, too, when I look at it.
Yeah, it's cheesy. I experience every day social intercourse. Yes, ma'am. This is a true statement. I'm a terrible person. Okay, I'm just saying this is not before radios. This is just before cell phones. There's no need for that to be a cell phone. Although, that being said, if you were a time traveler, wouldn't you send your tech back looking like normal everyday crap from the time you're going to?
Well, even
Yeah. And they're real clever. They're just retro engineering. They're in the future. They can do stuff. Eh?
And they even picked being a woman. That was a smart idea as well.
Welcome back. Like I said at the beginning, Physicists and scientists for years have been saying that time travel is possible. Some countries, like Russia about a decade ago, claims to have even achieved time travel, sending a small dog 1 minute into the future. Is it really possible?
I wonder if it took about a minute.
Have we been visited by distant ancestors from the future that have come back to experience history firsthand? Is time travel just a form of entertainment 500 or 1,000 years from now? Can you pay a certain amount of money and hop into a machine and travel to the Civil War or the cowboy to see the shootout at Tombstone, or to see the first man land on the moon?
Can you pause it for a sec?
Yeah, but
Who knows?
It kind of reminds me of Untethered. He's got the cigarette going and the ash
Right.
is like halfway down.
My man is based as hell. Drew, he's just as based as they come. He'll sit down and tell you, man, I don't even want to be live this morning, but I promised everybody I would, so here we go. And then it's whatever comes off the top of his head.
Where's this
or
guy
whatever
at?
he found.
Where's this guy at? Do you know?
Michigan, I think.
Okay. I like his
He's off over there somewhere.
preaches in the background are interesting. I just wanted to point that out about the cigarette.
He changes his set probably twice a week. He's got some real neat stuff in there. He's got a full-sized alien mannequin. He's got a whole bunch of alien masks and Bigfoot stuff and werewolf stuff, creepy paranormal crap. He's got all kinds of crap.
That's awesome.
But I guarantee it will be a subject of controversy for years to come, until the right person just materializes in front of the right person.
Here we go again. I don't know what that's all about. Move around a little bit, dude. You look like you might have froze too. Okay, you're good.
No, I'm just stoned as fuck watching to see what was going to happen.
And to prove
There we go.
right there.
Yeah. Ain't but a minute left
That's
of it.
all I got for you guys today. Thank you for checking this out. It's always fun. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
All right. Well, I tried real hard. That's Drew from Living History's Mysteries. Yeah. He's cool beans. Oh no! Don't do it. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. I wonder if this thing's trying to overheat or something. Maybe so.
Hot as fuck.
Well, I've got a power strip thing back there, and it was pushed up a little bit too close to the back of it. Might need to put a spacer under it so it has a little more airflow.
Interesting.
All it's got to do is survive another night. We'll be good.
Right?
Right. All right. So this channel is called Southern Girls Crime Stories. And I'm not 100% sure where she's from, but she did a face reveal like a month ago. So she's actually starting to own up to the channel she's actually created. And she went from probably 1,000 subs 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, to 40,000 subs today.
Wow.
She has been putting in work. She releases one of these just about every day. If it's not every day, it's every other day. And it's usually 2 or 3 different cases. Sometimes it's updates. Sometimes it's a new missing person. Sometimes it's, a closing case of something that she had previously done. She has, she kind of has I guess you'd call it an ethnic voice of sorts, or regional. She has certainly has a regional dialect, but it's an excellently named channel. So if you get a chance, go check her out. I'm using almost a year. What is it? I don't know why my computer is no longer telling me when things were posted. It's driving me crazy. Or maybe I always look it up on my phone. I don't know. I usually have my phone set up with
I do the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to give this a look. See, the first case is the one that I was really looking at. I can't do it tonight, but I've got the same case brought up on, I think, 4 different YouTube channels where they go at it from different directions. They look at all the evidence and everything multiple times to get an idea of the breadth of the information that's available and how much variation there is in the stories. Because when you read something, you may read it different from the way I read it, right? So it's kind of one of those situations where you get as many eyes on the problem as you can and try to promote awareness about the case so that the right person with the right information can come along, look at something that's been done and go, wait, I know something about that. I saw that, or I saw something, right? That's the idea, But she does an excellent job at this stuff. But I love her music. It's awesome.
Nancy Perry Baird was born January 14, 1952. She had a 4-year-old son that lived with relatives and also had an ex-husband who lived in Wyoming. On July 4, 1975, 23-year-old Nancy was working at the Fina gas station at 1378 North Highway 89 in East Layton, Utah. A police officer on patrol saw her working alone around 5:15 p.m. When the manager arrived 15 minutes later to take over her shift, she was no longer there and considered missing. There was no evidence of robbery and no indications of a struggle, but about $10 worth of gas from the station's pumps had not been paid for. Her car was found locked and parked in the parking lot where she had left it. Her car keys, purse containing her medications, and $167 cash from a recently cashed check were found in the car. It's considered highly unlikely that she would have left of her own free will. Just before her disappearance, witnesses saw a truck at the gas station. It was never identified, and it's unclear whether it had anything to do with her disappearance. Investigators questioned her ex-husband, but he had been out of state at the time she disappeared and passed polygraph exams. Authorities initially assumed that Nancy was one of the many victims of the serial killer Ted Bundy. Therefore, many people were interviewed because the investigation.
I was watching the Ted Bundy freaking biography before I came on your show with my wife. This is weird. I'm tripping right now.
Oh, no. Let me tell you what's weird. I remember last week I did the, what was it, AI? It was a week before I did time travel, AI, and aliens. Right?
I popped in for a minute.
Right. And he was sitting when I went live with doing that. He had just finished editing that together to upload it. The time travel one. He said it creeped him out. Said he felt like somebody was looking over his shoulder while he was making videos because I had literally plucked time travel right out of his brain and then spent most of the episode sitting there talking about it. So
no, I swear to God, bro, me and my wife were watching the Ted Bundy biography, how he escaped from prison a bunch of times and killed women after escaping, how he trained for escaping and stuff. Crazy smart dude.
Welcome to the show,
Sick as
Work
hell,
Life,
but
Very Nuts, MVTV, Montana Vigilante TV, IB Thunder,
huh.
Ron Saban,
Run.
Lucky Laptop come through here. Yeah, he's cool. Previous guest. Yeah, okay. Think I caught back up there. I like the way folks breeze through and breeze back out. The links pinned if you want to hop up. We're just checking out some unsolved murder cases, missing peoples. This is the missing portion. I kind of did the found portion first, but you know, it was a total disaster stream. So we're gonna roll with it like this is what we meant to do. Whee!
Investigation focused on
Love
Bundy
it.
only. Bundy would confess to killing over 30 women and young girls in many states, including Utah, between 1973 and 1978, but he never confessed to Nancy's death. While he was attending law school in Salt Lake City in 1975, he specifically denied killing Nancy during his
I gotta stop moving my mouse around. That's what's causing it to happen, going from one screen to another.
Making your shit think and it gets pissed. It's like, nope.
Mm-hmm. It don't
Me-
like it.
I wonder if my cam off will.
Also, her abduction doesn't fit the
Shut
profile
your
of
cam
certain
off.
crimes. For starters, Bundy never drove a truck, and Nancy was the only possible victim of his that was abducted from a gas station. Plus, he preferred dark-haired women, and Nancy was strawberry blonde. As of late, a new theory has developed, and there are two other persons of interest in her case. One of whom wanted to date Nancy, drove a truck, and was later imprisoned for sex offenses and other crimes. He is still currently in prison, and due to COVID-19, investigators have been unable to interview him as of March 2021. There are no details available on the other person of interest, and investigators have not released the names of the two men. As of today, Nancy remains missing and the case unsolved.
Ads on YouTube must be so annoying. But with 3 clicks, you can install an ad blocker and you'll never see ads again. Step 1, go to adblocker360.com. Step 2, click on Ad Extension. Step 3, confirm.
Floyd Michael
Like it.
Reese was born June 14, 1971, and lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. In the summer of 1985, he had just graduated from Glendale Middle School and was about to turn 14 years old. On June 3, 1985, he shared a candy bar with his younger brother and sister, and then left his home at 173 East 1700 South. He would leave with his older friend, 21-year-old David Jaramillo, and 2 other friends to go boating at the East Canyon Reservoir. At some point during the day, David and Lloyd became separated from their other 2 friends. They were last seen driving away in a brown Datsun B210. They were reported missing by friends and family members after they failed to return home that evening. Authorities stated they had little evidence in David and Lloyd's disappearance and aren't sure if they met with an accident or foul play. The 2 friends who were with David and Lloyd are not considered suspects in the case. David was working with his father at the New Grand Hotel in Salt Lake at the time he went missing, and he had plans to attend Salt Lake Community College in the fall. In 2010, David's brother and mother met Lloyd's family for the first time. Also in 2010, David's family placed a headstone in a local cemetery, and then weeks later, the police reopened the investigation. In 2020, the Utah Cold Case Coalition and a team of volunteers from Utah State University were planning to probe.
Uh-oh.
Maybe I should stop playing with my other screen entirely. All right, folks, I'm not going to be able to highlight your comments anymore. I'm going to leave my mouse over here. Nah, it's just reflected. I knew this was going to happen.
I mean,
Assalamu alaikum. Doodah. I don't know.
we can jump off if you want, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. People understand. It's technicalities happen. Technical difficulties are always lingering.
Well, we got an hour out of it. I'm happy with that. Everybody happy with that? I'm fairly happy with that. Because
The bottom of the reservoir with an underground camera. But today,
Oh my God.
Floyd were in has never been found, and this case remains unsolved. Joseph Michael Buschling was born on June 3, 1984, and nicknamed Joe. He was born and raised in California and moved with his family to Russellville, Arkansas in 2000. Joe joined the Army, where he eventually became an Army specialist and was deployed to South Korea. In May 2011, at the age of 26, he was assigned to Fort Collins, Colorado, and was stationed at the Army base in Dugway, Utah. He had recently divorced and lost his younger brother, Jeremy, to suicide in March 2010. He was looking forward to an upcoming reassignment to San Antonio, Texas. While in Utah, he worked as an emergency medical technician and ambulance driver at Dugway's Medical Clinic. On May 8, 2011, he left the English Village area early in the morning and drove out into the desert in a black Mitsubishi Lancer he had borrowed. At 7 p.m. that evening on May 8, he called a friend in Dugway and left a message saying he had run out of gas and was on the west side of Granite Mountain. When he placed this call, it pinged off the Dugway base. He said he was going to try to walk back to the Dugway proving ground. He also said it was very cold and rainy and that he had lost his flip-flops and was having to use his shirt as footwear and desperately needed help. The Dugway Proving Ground, where he was supposedly heading, was established by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1942 to study chemical and biological warfare and covers nearly 800,000 acres in the desert along the Nevada border. Joe went missing on Mother's Day and has never been heard from again. 6 days later, the car he had been driving was found abandoned in a deep ravine off a gravel road in a very isolated area about 60 miles from Dugway's main gate. Some of Joe's belongings were inside the vehicle, but the keys were missing and there weren't any clues to indicate his whereabouts. 2 days later, Joe's Arkansas Razorbacks hat was located in the desert 6 miles from the car, and searchers found his flip-flops. The terrain where he disappeared is rough and desolate, with lots of caves, and cell phone reception is very poor. After his disappearance, the Army automatically classified him as a deserter, although his supervisor didn't believe he had actually deserted. His family doesn't think he left of his own accord either. They stated he was happy in the Army and was close to his parents. He had no history of mental illness, and nothing was missing from his room. Authorities have ruled out suicide and foul play as possible explanations for Joe's disappearance. A death certificate was issued for him in August 2014, and the cause of death was given as exposure due to low temperatures and lack of protective clothing. His family held a memorial service for him, and because the Army had changed his status from a deserter to a deceased person, a 6-man honor guard was present at the service. Several searches of the rough and desolate desert and area caves have been searched, and unmanned drones and helicopters have flown over looking for Joe, but nothing was ever found. His family has hopes that his body will be located one day and put to rest. However, as of today, he has never been found, and this case remains unsolved.
Protein is making us fat. I know that probably sounds a bit weird.
so what you think about all that, dude?
Way out there. I don't know.
I really wonder how much of this disappearances are actually related to drug crime and whatnot. You know,
Right.
people that see too much. That's what I wonder.
It's a good show. I like the show. I think I've seen this somehow before.
She does excellent research. She really does. She really digs into all the news stories and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like watching those interviews with all these criminals, you know, where the cops are.
Hey, You want to have us a betting pool on how many subs I lose overnight? I'm saying 790. Cheese is picking 792.
Um, 792. She's saying, you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm gonna lose 10.
Where are you?
Lose
You're 802 right now.
Yeah, I'm at 801. I think. I don't know. I had to check. I was at 799 when I started.
I'll say 795. You lose 7.
Right. This is like The Price is Right, but you bet lower.
Right? No,
I will say one sub.
I get it. YouTube makes it difficult for us now. It's not even funny anymore. Like I was like 13 from 1,000, and then next thing you know, I wake up in the morning. Even Ron hangs out in my show all the time, and Ron last night was like, "Dude, you've gone down since last night," and I'm like, "I know." And then like an hour later, we're in the stream together, screwing around, and he goes, "Hippie, look at your subs. It went down another 2. What? And the time I was on my freaking stream, it went down 6.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at. I got a few creators that I follow that have somewhat shady streams. They do weird things, and I don't think YouTube likes the weird things that they do. And so every time I go over there and I talk to these guys, and I'm just chatting, I'm just like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm not posting links or anything like that. I go in and talk to them. Their mods post links and stuff, and I'll pick up 5 or 10 subs and lose them that very night. And it's every time I go over there and talk to them. And I've been trying to get the guy to come in and do a show. I want to get him on Sasquatch Shields because he's got a really neat growth method. It's neat, and it's hard to explain. I think he could probably explain it better than I can. Does that make sense?
So you're talking about AAP?
Yeah, I'm trying to get AAP in to come do a show, and he every time I talk to him, he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll do it," but I never get any follow up. I've emailed him a few times. I don't get a response out of that.
I stopped going to his channel as well as James Gype. Not that I don't like them. We talked about this today on my show. I love AAP. I think he's got a great show. Thing is, I'll go over there and spend an hour hanging out and blah, 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 and gain, 10 or 12 subs. And, those people aren't doing it right. And he's explaining what to do, but they're just not following protocol. So I lose all those subs. Meanwhile, I know what I'm doing, so all my subs stick,
Right.
So I just stopped going there. I still go to Tuber Chat once in a while because I just like the guy himself. But I don't do James Gype anymore either. I even had a little interaction with James about it, But I just don't think it works. YouTube's, beating that strategy.
Yeah, I think YouTube's marked these channels and quite simply just undoes whatever it is they're currently doing. Although evidently some part of it works. People keep going back.
I think that's really the key. It's got to be an extended, mutual relationship, and it's.
I'll tell you what I do, and this seems to help a little bit. I only ever go see AAP on his live streams. Otherwise, I'll check him on other people's live streams, catch him in chat. But I only check on AAP's live streams right before my live stream. Right? Huh. So anybody who picks up ends up getting the notification that I'm going live. They might show up, drop a like, watch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
More in subs.
I get more unsubs. I'm going to be
right. Well, no, see, that's the thing. Consider this. With Twitter, they're fixing to be forced to reveal their algorithmic intricacies to someone who's probably going to turn it public the second he gets his hands on it, or use it to blackmail the Twitter reps. With that being said, it's likely that YouTube will have to adjust its algorithm because it may hold similarities or enough similarities with Twitter's that it's an issue. There's
Right.
something really weird maybe fixing to happen on YouTube too, just as a byproduct fallout from Twitter. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
That's the most expensive computer program in the world, the YouTube algorithm. Something like
YouTube or
$515 million, I think I read.
Twitter's, man. Twitter used to update its algorithm 3 times a day. YouTube does it about once every 2 weeks, but it resets its algorithm every 2 weeks. It doesn't update it every day. Or maybe it does update it every day, but eventually it has to do a full reset.
So what are you trying to say? You think YouTube is not as smart as Twitter? In the sense of computer.
The thing is, YouTube's algorithm is also looking for copyright and music and faces and things like that, whereas Twitter's just looking at words.
Well, and they're also saving every bit of music and copywriting it themselves.
Exactly.
So they've got all kinds of things going on.
Right.
As where Twitter is just kind of throwing out fake information and putting commercials, you know. Be interesting to see what he does with it. I don't know.
I think most likely, he's
gonna let Trump back on there, probably.
Make it 4 different companies.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting. You could have a whole range of various free speech options. Did you see my meme that I made?
No, I don't think so.
It was a picture of Elon Musk going, "Psst, hey kids, want some free speech?"
I told you that
It tickled me, tickled my wife. She giggled about it. It was funny to her.
So how many subs did you lose, Ron? Ron's saying he lost a whole bunch. He was asking everybody in chat last night, please sub so I can do shorts, because you need 50 to do shorts. So we a bunch of us sub to him, and then he's not 50 anymore.
Hold on. That's Ron. Let me see.
Ron Sevon. 313.
Detroit city limit sign?
Yep, that's him.
Yup, unsubbed. Let's go see what you got over there.
Dougie?
There you go.
Well, he doesn't even have not even a 3-minute video to make it stick. That's why.
Yeah.
Right?
See what we'll do. Oh, bother. Well, I tried real hard, Ron. I made effort.
You're 50 though, Ron, so
Wayman was born on December 7th, 1989, and has 2 older sisters and a brother.
Hold up. Explain that shit to me. Why will it play both of them, but won't only play one?
Right?
City, Utah, and enjoyed soccer and reading, and was very close to his family.
Man.
He was 5 years old. His father, who was abusive to the family, had committed suicide. When he was 17, he had to have surgery for an injury and was prescribed oxygen. This led to him becoming addicted to narcotics, and he also began mixing alcohol with them. He then lost his adoptive stepfather, and he became addicted to harder drugs at that point. He was later ordered by the court to go to rehab and was non-compliant, so he was jailed. He would later be imprisoned for a crime, but released in the summer of 2017. Months later, on November 20th, 2017, when he was 27 years old, he was staying at the Fortitude Treatment Center, a halfway house for male parolees. He spoke to his mother, Marilyn, that morning on his way. way to work and made plans for them to have lunch together, but he never showed up. She had called him right back to see where he wanted to meet for lunch, but he did not answer. He never made it to work and has never been heard from again. It's
Wow.
uncharacteristic of Justin to leave without warning, and he was reportedly having some problems with unspecified men that were also at the Fortitude Treatment Center at the time of his disappearance. His loved ones say that the investigators in his case have not had any urgency in solving his case because of his lifestyle and assumed he was on the run from legal issues. It was several years before the investigators looked into his phone records. His family says that Justin would never leave and not stay in contact with his family for any reason. The halfway house, which was later closed down, was not helpful in providing any information, and it was months before his
Love you,
belongings.
It was like me talking set that off.
Were given to his family. This video is the last time his family saw him. As of today, this case remains unsolved.
Jeez, Bear.
Acacia patients.
Yeah.
That seems like drugs related. Kid
Well,
probably-
yeah, a lot of these do.
Kid probably pulled somebody's chain with drugs and they snuffed them.
I'll tell you one we had here a few months ago. I think it was about 6 months ago. A girl I went to school with.
Princess.
She got a divorce from her husband and was living for the first time, as far as I know, in her life alone with like her 2 kids. And every other weekend, the kids would spend the weekend with their dad, right? On one of these weekends, she didn't show up and pick up her kids. And then she didn't go to work. And then she didn't show up anywhere else. Eventually, they found the car. It was parked down the road from where she lives. They found some of her stuff on the side of the road, not far from where they found the car. And something of a search kind of started up in that general area. But then they found her body in a waste pool over here just out of town. And after a whole bunch of like, he said, she said BS, it turned out, or at least the story was, that she had overdosed while everybody was sleeping. When they woke up, they disposed of the body. How much of that do you believe? How much is legitimate? How much is real? I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't believe there were murder charges ever brought. Although, I don't know. Things be going real slow around here lately.
Yeah, since COVID, everything's going backwards where I'm at. Government doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, they basically just closed up shop and kept the money.
Yeah, that's a real statement, bro.
They're like, give us more money so we can fail to provide services for you.
Well, everything's going to cost you more. Gas, food, babysitter, life, rent.
Everything.
And then now you got to give us more money as well because we just need more.
Listen, I don't know how you feel about the capital gains tax, but if you don't receive capital gains, you don't get an opinion on the type of capital gains tax. So when they increase that type of stuff, that affects a lot of people you wouldn't expect it to affect. People that made good, sound financial decisions in their youth and have now grown up to a point where they're reaping the benefits of their good, solid, hard work ethic. And the government response is, oh, well, since you're talking about taxing unrealized gains. The money you should have made if the company was doing good.
How? Because they don't got enough money.
It's in the freaking tax code. I can't remember how it was phrased, but the term that was bandied around was unrealized gain. It is horse poking. It's just a cash grab by the government. It has nothing to do with them.
Right. Well, sadly, I don't have any capital. I don't have any capital gains, so I guess I'm not too
Well, I mean, like I said, I ate a whole bunch of like bologna sandwiches and shit. it took some it took some very poor living. Like I spent a bit of time out like sort of off grid doing the building cabins and hunting lodges and stuff like that. There's no
Yes.
rent out there.
Right.
You would call it homeless. I called it camping.
Right.
I
did camping.
You know, it's just a different philosophy, I guess. I'm very, very rural to start with, so
Yeah, like me and my wife were very modest, you know, like we lived in a car together for a while, you know what I mean? And we wasn't like it was the end of the world, you know what I mean? We were just living life, you know.
right.
You know, looking good and having a beautiful countertop and all that isn't always important, you know. Maybe to some
No,
people, but to me it's not. My wife, it's definitely not. My wife is like half of everything in my house comes from the swap shop at the local dump. I'm not kidding. My wife is
okay. So Harry, you need to come up so you can tell us about your TSA experience.
yeah, let
The
him
one
up.
person that voted wants to hear about it. Oh, the value of my house skyrocketed, dude. I'm in a prime location here in town, and I've been eyeballing that rising figure for quite a while. I got 2 acres outside of town. I can just blow this pop stand.
Right.
If I can
The
figure
thing
out
is,
how to build something.
like me, I bought my house for pennies. I could sell it and make a ridiculous profit, but where am I going?
Yeah, where am I going? Well, I mean, I got
You
a
know?
place, but there's nothing on it. It's just, it would be great homestead type stuff, but
Right.
I've kind of been thinking about doing some of that.
With a family, it's kind of difficult, and being an old man. I mean, what? Who said that? Wait, what?
Well, no, I mean, get this. My pops is raising hell currently. My pops, he's all 79, 80 years old now, is raising hell because he can't hook the plow to the tractor anymore by himself. So he's upset. And
I don't blame him. I know exactly
Well,
where he's coming from.
yeah. So
I mean, I can't see anymore. I was kidding around on my live stream earlier about my right arm being 3 inches longer because I'm like this,
I heard that.
holding it out, trying to read that motherfucker. I told my granddaughter the other day at the store, I'm like, if I forget my glasses, I can't read the phone. I mean, I know where 911 is, but that's about where it ends, you know? I can't see any of the text or anything at all.
Right.
It's just a blur now. Sad.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I could probably pick me up a little trailer for 30,000 somewhere and have it drug over for about 10 grand. I'm gonna end up spending 50K, give a damn how I do it. So even if I
Right.
get 700,000 out of the house and maybe another, I don't know, I'll end up spending at least part of that trying to establish myself, and then another part of that trying to live until all of that's built, because you know it's not going to be built by the end of the week. I mean, even if you're getting a trailer nowadays, even if you're getting like a modular home or something, it's going to be 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years before it actually shows up on your lot.
Yeah, things are way out of control. Like I was talking to this dude in New York about rent. He was saying, dude, out here, it's freaking,
Oh,
you
New
know,
York is crazy.
$2,000
crazy.
a month all day long for a 1 bedroom. And then if you're looking for anything more than that, you might as well just cut your left arm off. The value of my house is less than the garage in the suburbs.
Adam. On May 25th, 2003, Acacia was less than 2 years old when she was at her great-grandparents' home in Salt Lake City, Utah. Her parents were at a wedding rehearsal and asked her great-grandparents to babysit. Also at her great-grandparents' home was her 38-year-old grandmother, Kelly Lodmail. Kelly had chronic severe mental illness, including paranoid schizophrenia with grandiose delusions,
Oh, no.
psychosis, and bipolar disorder, a history of drug abuse and violence. However, she was in denial of her mental illnesses and failed to comply with court-ordered treatments. She had also been very possessive over Acacia, and all these things caused a strained relationship with her daughter Casey, Acacia's mother. Kelly had taken Acacia without permission in the past and hid her in a man's apartment located in the basement of an apartment where she was staying. She had told Casey that Acacia was hers and she wasn't going to give her back.
This one's the perfect.
God, man. I just had a sneezing fit from the other side of hell. Oh, wow. That was good stuff, man.
Damn. Share that shit. You can't just be doing that without me, bro.
Dude, it's fucking Georgia. I ain't joking.
Springtime,
Oh, baby.
hay fever.
Ain't it, though? Dude, let me tell you, Georgia has one season. It's allergy season. That's it. That's the only season we have. Because it's like this. Let's say in the spring, everything blooms. Your allergies go crazy. Then comes midsummer, everything dries out. And the dust comes up, your allergies go crazy. And then in the fall, the leaves fall and you get all the mold and your allergies go crazy because everything's wet. And then come winter, it's all real wet and the fungus comes out and your allergies go crazy. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't notice. I was fiddling with other stuff. I don't see nothing in private chat. There you are. What's up, brother? All right. You going to regale us with the tales?
Hey, man. How's it going, you guys?
What's happening, baby?
All right. So I need your guys' advice because you're professionals at what you do, and I need your advice. So I'll just start from the beginning. Our daughter got married in Virginia, so we flew back to Virginia. Great wedding, beautiful thing. So then I got to fly home, right? So I got my mother-in-law and father-in-law, who are 85 years old each. So me and them are going through security. My wife stayed back to babysit our grandson, right? So I'm going through security with them. I'm worried about them. My father-in-law is having a fucking panic attack because they're watching their shit on the belt go through the scanner and the scanner breaks down. So they got to move it from one belt to another and they're totally think their shit's going to get lost. So I'm ready to go through the body scanner, right? And so the guy gives me the old fingers, right? Like the step forward finger. So I step in there, put my hands over my head, and I'm good to go, right? And so through the glass, I'm watching my mother-in-law and father-in-law to make sure they're getting their shit together, right? And so the guy says, do you have anything in your pockets, right? And I said, you're gonna scan me, right? That's the fucking wrong answer. I can tell you right now. That's the absolute wrong answer. So he goes, do you have anything in your pockets? Right? And I go, side like this, right? I'm like, dude, you're going to scan me, right? He's fucking so pissed. Not at that point. But then a third time, he yells, do you have anything in your pockets? And I go, nah, dude, scan me, right? And the thing scans me, right? And when I step out, he steps up to me about 4 inches from my face, and he goes, it's fucking passengers like you who ruined my day, right? And I go, oh God, got him on the hook now, right? So he's gonna scan me with the wand, right? And I'm not sure why, but he's fucking pissed. So I throw my arms out to the side and I go, you know, man, you're just not a people person. Maybe this isn't the job for you. And he goes, what?
Oh,
man, you should really think about a baggage job or something. You're just not a people person, man. And dude, he was so fucking mad. He got back up into my face and he's going, fucking passengers like you ruin my day. And I go, dude, man, your day was ruined way before this, man. It's not me, right? And so the supervisor sees something is going on. Why this guy's in my face, right? And what does she do? Bam! She hits the panic button. Fucking locks down the airport. And so I'm just standing there with my arms out, right? And I go, man, where do we go from here, dude? I said, you should have been a baggage guy. And that guy is so fucking mad that the supervisor and another guy comes over and they escort him off. And I'm standing there with my arms out, and I go, are we done here? And so I just got, I guess we're done, right? So I start to walk over where my stuff's at on the belt, and the TSA guy that's standing there goes, just get your shit and leave. I go, oh, all right, okay, right? So I go over and get my stuff, and there's a guy standing there. And I go, excuse me, sir, are you the supervisor? I'd like to talk to the supervisor. And he goes, no, actually, I'm the manager. So now things are going again, right? But once the panic button gets hit, the manager comes out and wants to see what's going on. So I go, hey man, my interaction with your employee was horrible, and I'd like to, see this through and see some type of resolution to, maybe it's a training issue. And he goes, this is the part that fucking killed me. He goes, because I was calm the whole time, right? And he goes, yeah, he's saying that you were saying racial slurs. And I said,
I knew it. I fucking knew it. A white bald guy going through TSA don't got a snowball's chance in hell.
And I agree with that 100%. So I said, I got to be honest with you. If I was in the wrong, if I was black and I was going to get in trouble, I would use race. I said, that's exactly what he did. And I said, that's nonsense. I said, now you're accusing me of being a racist, and I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to follow this all the way through, and I want some type of resolution, right? And
That's all they got.
And I said, because there's got to be 500 fucking cameras in there, right? So I go, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to review the security footage with you, and if I'm in the wrong, you can put me on a do not fly list. And if he's wrong, fire him. And so he goes, no, we're not going to do that. I said, that's how confident I am that I did not use any racial slurs, and not even remotely in the least bit. And so I said, as a matter of fact, can I have your name, your card or something? I want to follow up on this. And he goes, no, that's not going to be necessary. I go, oh, that's not a request. I mean, that's up for debate. I'd like your card. And he goes, no. And so the funny thing was, I didn't have my phone with me, right? And I go, hey, I want to go get my phone so I can record this interaction. And he goes, no, we're not going to do that, or something like that. And I go, so you're telling me that you're not going to give me your name? So now I tell the manager this. I go, now I'm getting the whole picture. It starts with you being like you are, that trickles right down to the supervisor, which trickles down to the employee. I said, I've managed up to 60 people at a time, and this is nonsense. It kills me what's going on here. And so I left, right? Because if I would have been in the wrong, they would have been happy to tackle my ass. You know what I mean? They would have been fucking happy with that. But none of that happened because I was not in the wrong. So, but to accuse me of being a racist just to get out of trouble is bullshit. So that's my story.
Agreed. Well, I'm going to tell you, dude, I knew it the second somebody said you had problems going through TSA. I said, a white bald guy in TSA? Problem? Nah, never.
I swear. So I did follow up on filing a complaint. You can actually do that online. And it's funny because it asks you, what was your flight number? What was your, what time was it? What was all this stuff? And I go, shit, I don't know none of that. And I dug around in my pocket. And I go, well, hell, I got my flight ticket right here. I got all that information.
There you go.
So I'm waiting to hear back from him now. I don't. We'll see where that goes.
I just want to say, as your father, I'm glad you picked that day when I was trying to go through the airport to make a big stink.
Hey, I'll guarantee you, there were 200 people. They were all listening to the interaction.
And people love that shit, bro.
There was no crazy shit going on. I mean, I wasn't yelling. And he wasn't raising his voice, because what I'm really thinking is that they film all that, and there's got to be a microphone. You got to be able to hear, right? So he was keeping his voice low, so if something happened, it wouldn't be recorded, right? So I'm gonna try and FOIA request the security footage.
Put it up on YouTube, brother.
Isn't that funny? I don't even know if you can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if you can FOIA the TSA. I don't know, but it'd be an interesting experience. I'd love to. We could cover the whole process. It'll be great.
So, what's your guys' advice?
I would go for it just because he was a douche, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Give him both barrels. I mean, hell, look, here's my issue with it. I'm from the South. If somebody's going to accuse me of being racist, hell, who am I to argue with them? I mean, my accent's racist as hell. I can't help that. It's just the way I am. You're bald. You're not a skinhead. You just don't got no fucking hair. So what about him doing shit? Harry got nothing to do with it. Harry Nuts, the skinhead assassin. Yeah, right. Right. Fuck no. Fuck no.
Yeah, not until he started copping an attitude that, and I could have handled it differently. I could have went, oh God, let me get in there. Sorry, Mr. TSA guy, I could have handled it differently too. I could have said, nope, nothing in my pocket, and maybe I would have went through no problem. But I really don't feel that, to be honest with you.
Right? I don't blame you.
It was a shit show.
I would have had my camera in my hand, though, so at least you could have made it even more fun and showed the whole interaction. Next time you fly, bring your camera.
Well, you can't, right? Because
that's right. They put it through the machine, right? So they take it away from you.
That's right.
I've never flown, so I have no idea.
And I honestly believe that he knew that, right? He knew he wasn't. I sure wasn't recording him in no way, shape, or form, right? And he knew that, right? So that's why he was close to me and kept his voice low, as I did too, right? If I would have made the scene, man, I'm telling you, they would have tackled my ass. But I'm
surprised they didn't tackle your ass anyway, just for fun. Then said you tried to freaking do something.
Yeah.
He moved wrong. He moved forwards. He took a step into my security zone.
Yeah, in a threatening manner, right?
Yeah. Look at him. He looks mean, doesn't he? Just look at him.
It's like I watch enough YouTube and great auditors that, they're like, hey, don't get yourself in trouble, right? Stay out of trouble. And I wasn't getting myself in trouble, but I wasn't being either. I didn't need the needle on my lung. That's for sure.
Well, more power to you for sticking up for your rights, because technically I don't think you have to answer.
That's what I think Robert Shannon.
Yeah.
I think Robert Shannon.
Ranting Robert Shannon.
Just ranting Robert Shannon. Could have been an old Hennessy. It's official. Big pussy ain't pork grits and ain't grocery. Wait, hold on. Grits are groceries. I think South, baby. We eat that shit. It's a vehicle for butter and salt. Maybe an egg.
And I see Cheese Bear's comment there that federal agencies react quickly to complaints by senators and congressmen, and I am going to call mine. So it's funny. I think that most people that go through there, if they were to give them the least bit of shit, they're like, oh, sorry, fuck, man, I just want to get through here and get on my flight, right? I'm going to see this one through. So
so that somebody else don't get treated like shit.
Yeah. There was no need. And after all that happened, for me to walk by the other guy and for him to say, just get your shit and leave. So they've all got that attitude at that point, right? So
I appreciate the story, brother. That's some cool stuff.
That was it.
Awesome.
Oh man. Hey, I'm gonna jump off here. Let you guys.
Yeah, brother.
Nice to meet you, Harry.
Coming back.
Hey,
good to see
pleasure,
you,
man.
All right, we're gonna knock this last little. I think there's 2 more cases. Yeah, I think so. There's 2 more cases. We're gonna check it out, and then we're gonna do stuff out of here. We'll be done. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you, brother.
You're a hell of a trooper.
Day in May of 2003, Kelly was on supervised visitation with Acacia at Kelly's parents' home. Acacia's great-grandmother Linda was the supervisor for the visit, but when Linda left the room for a moment to return a vacuum cleaner, Kelly came inside from working in the yard and took Acacia. The next time they were seen was the next day in Idaho Falls, Idaho. They were close to the Broadway overpass and Greenbelt next to the Snake River, dangling their feet in the water. Soon after, Kelly, soaking wet, ran into a nearby hydroelectric plant near the overpass and told employees that she had dropped her baby into the river while they were dangling their feet off the bridge. The plant was immediately shut down so Acacia would not get sucked into its turbines. Divers searched the murky river for several days, but Acacia was not found. However, a pair of baby shoes and a doll were found on the riverbank. One of Kelly's shoes was also found on the bank, the other one was in the water. Authorities believe Acacia drowned in the Snake River and have classified her case as a homicide. They do not feel like Acacia accidentally fell into the river. The police believe she intentionally jumped in the water with Acacia in her arms in a murder-suicide attempt. She would eventually admit this to authorities and was charged with kidnapping and murdering. She stated that she believed the baby made it out of the water and is still alive somewhere. Kelly has a criminal record including drunk driving, threats with a dangerous weapon, disorderly conduct, domestic violence, drug possession, and she spent 2 months in jail for shooting an 11-year-old girl in the legs with a pellet gun and told police she enjoyed it. She was usually homeless and lived on the streets or her car. She was non-compliant with her medications and could not usually afford them. She was not taking her meds at the time she abducted Acacia. Acacia's parents state that Kelly is a known habitual liar and hope that she is lying about what happened to Acacia in an effort to conceal her from the rest of the family, and hope that she passed Acacia over to one of her friends and plans to find her after she is released from prison. Acacia's parents say Kelly has never had suicidal tendencies before and had never indicated that she might harm her. They also suggested her confession of murder was fabricated and that she might have been planning Acacia's abduction for months. Police investigated the possibility that Kelly gave or sold Acacia. Acacia's parents believe that she is still alive. Kelly sent them a letter from jail writing that Acacia was alive and being cared for by others. She never referred to her in the past tense in her letters. They also point out that Kelly purchased diapers and milk for Acacia shortly before she allegedly drowned, which would not make sense if she had been planning to murder her. Acacia's mother and father are offering a reward for their daughter's safe return. They have issued a sketch of a man they think may be helping hide Acacia. The sketch was not made by a professional sketch artist and is not endorsed by the police. The man was allegedly seen checking Kelly and Acacia out of the Red Lion Hotel on May 26 prior to the incident. Police detectives do not think the man, if he exists, was involved in Acacia's disappearance and presumed death. Kelly was tried for
Hold on.
kidnapping
Wait a
in
second.
federal court,
Look like
but was
truth be
acquitted
told.
in 2000.
Holy shit. Wrong button.
Yes,
Kelly
Kelly was tried for kidnapping in federal court, but was acquitted in 2005 due to insanity. The judge decided Kelly was delusional when she abducted Acacia and believed the baby was in an abusive situation and she had a duty to save her. Kelly was determined to be a danger to the community based on her mental illness, past criminal behavior, and history of violence and substance abuse. She was committed to a mental hospital for an indefinite period. She may be released from the hospital at a later date if psychiatrists determine she is no longer dangerous, but her prognosis is poor as she has repeatedly refused to follow through with treatment programs for her schizophrenia and does not believe she is mentally ill. It is unlikely that Kelly will ever be released from federal custody. Therefore, Idaho prosecutors dropped the murder and kidnapping charges against her. If she is ever released from the hospital, she may face the state charges again. Acacia has never been found, and as of today, this case remains unsolved.
All right.
Mr.
Right.
Self-Destruction's funny. He says, yeah, baby swam to shore, all right.
No joke, right?
You can't plead insanity if you chose not to take your pills. He's got a good sense of humor. Because you got to find good in some bad things, sadly.
Woo. Okay. So the next bit I had picked out. Let me back this up. So Bob Gimlin. Now, I'm sure some of y'all remember me going over the Hammerson Peters video. Bob Gimlin does a similar sort of style. He's a narrator and a researcher. And but his artistic style is a little different. The way he puts together his stories are a little different. Or if that worked at all. Did that actually? All right. So that seems a bit weird, but okay. You'd figure it would have his name on it, but it doesn't. That's Bob Gimlin's link.
150,000 subscribers, huh? Damn.
Oh yeah, no, he's toting around a channel. Let me tell you. One of the coolest things about his channel, what I really, really like, is it covers the width and breadth of myth, legend, stories, and in almost every case, there's some bit of truth, some bit of outlandishness, and some bit of magic. The way he presents them. I'm going to show you one of his earlier ones. It's he does his art. If you look at his art, it's neat. So I was specifically here for the one about the guy and the crazies, and I had it all set up, and then my computer crashed, and all went hell in a bucket. And now I can't remember exactly which one it is.
It should have a red bar on it, which would mean you watched it already.
It should, but I've already watched all of these, and it doesn't have a red bar on it because I bought my computer.
It did some of the ones on the top I saw had a red bar, but yeah. Of course. What about history?
Ohio is not a state which you would typically associate Bigfoot with, or anything else interesting, really, for that matter. But one of my favorite Bigfoot stories happened in Ohio. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, accounts of a gorilla or wild man kept popping up in Ohio newspapers. Accounts predate 1869 and continue after 1930, but that's the relevant time period for my purposes here. There are too many reports to go through them all, but I will highlight a few. The Gazette reported that in New Lisbon, Ohio, 2 hunters, Bradley and Rausch, pursued what they called a wild man, quote, covered in hair looking like a bear. They saw a huge hairy object, apparently half man and half beast, spring from behind a cliff and start for the woods running with great speed. That was reported in 1869. In 1886, the newspaper entitled Progress reported on the experience of some hunters in Holmes County, Ohio. The men called a wild man or something strange. The hunters claim it looked like a man but acted like a beast. They described the wild man as entirely nude with matted hair and making queer guttural sounds. When they approached it, it, quote, plunged into the river and crossed in a similar manner to a dog. That article was called The Wild Man of Ohio. In 1883, the Ohio Daily Advocate described a, quote, gorilla over 6 feet tall as only covering a mat of long curly hair. That was near Rome, Ohio. This is a sketch done by a witness in Rome from 1981. In 1904, the Ohio Advocate reported that a, quote, wild man who haunts the woods is at large, as fleet as a deer, and can outpace the swiftest hounds and their masters. In April 1902, in the area between Rockport and Beaver Dam, a prowler is paying residents nightly visits. Quote, it was the scheme of the prowler to attempt to open a window or fumble with the locks, shake the gates and walls, and then disappear as quickly as he came. Frank Cockelman and his family left their rural home and never came back after seeing a man possessing of features rough and coarse and covered with hair. The article says that a search party to capture the man would be fruitless because of the man's, quote, fleetness of foot and fence-jumping abilities. The article says that was perhaps an escaped insane person. And then between 1902 and 1930, there are literally dozens of articles about an escaped ape, presumably a gorilla, and, you know, the type of gorilla that's over 6 feet tall and walks on 2 legs. The reports themselves are not what make this case unique or special. The big...
Olka said it about had to be a gorilla, you know, the type of gorilla that's 6 foot tall and walks on 2 legs.
Okay.
Is that a person?
That would be a person, right?
That would be a person, not a gorilla. Okay, just checking to make sure I heard that right.
The Bigfoot world is filled with stories of people seeing tall, hairy, man-like things running through the woods or prowling around houses at night. What is unique and compelling about the story is how the media framed it and then how people received it. See, if this happened in Florida or the Pacific Northwest...
Tom!
Oh, that was a Sasquatch.
Yeah, that was a Sasquatch. Hey, Tom, welcome to the show, brother. There's a link over there if you want to jump up here. We're talking about weird shit. Lost, found, missing, weird stuff.
What's up, Mrs. B?
And Mrs. B.
Hey, I gotta say to you right now, I kind of dig this dude the most so far. I mean, but had nothing to do with the content. I just dig his voice. I dig the way he talks, the way he's puts it all together. This guy is.
There's a reason he's got 150,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
he does really, really, really good work.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I saw that, John. That's cool as hell, dude. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. I can't tell you how happy I am for you. He just broke 1,000 subs today. He started his channel about 2-3 weeks after I did, or hell, it might have been a week before. But it was almost the same time. We kind of stumbled across each other a couple of weeks into doing the whole YouTube thing. I like what he does. He does kind of a exposure for other auditors type thing. I don't think he himself audits. I haven't seen one of his audits if he does. But he does like the SJV and San Joaquin and all that. He does like the reviews of other people's work. It's good stuff. It's cool.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Yeah. I'm ecstatic for him. I really am. How you doing there, Tom? What's going on with you, brother? There's a link over there if you want to jump up here. We'll have us a chit chat about what you've been doing. Harry just left. He was up here for a minute. But we're just watching silly videos.
Wow, sounds like you saw a skookum. And that's exactly why this case is so compelling. This is one of the few instances where people fundamentally had no idea what they were looking at. In all other historical sightings, natives were there to answer the question of what the hell are we seeing, or what left these footprints. It's only natural that people would have asked the natives. People always seek answers from someone who has been there longer. However, Ohio was one of the states where Indian removals eradicated native populations. Sadly, Even today, there are no federally recognized tribes, reservations, or significant native populations in Ohio. So by 1900, there was no native lore and no one to tell it. I guarantee that if there were Native Americans in Ohio or even near Ohio, there would have been none of this wild man or gorilla talk. They would have known what it was. They would have known what they were looking at. So you can't call Bigfoot a native legend because people were still seeing.
Yeah, brother, you have a good night. I know it's running a little late on the East Coast over here, but I'm going to tough it out a little longer. Hey, we got Tom in here. What is up, my brother? What is shaking? Speak.
Can you hear me?
I can now hear you, yes.
Roger.
How you doing?
Perfect. Good. How are you? I love it.
It's freaking beautiful, dude. I used it for the banner at the top of my page, too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's gorgeous, man. I hear you've been putting in a bunch of work recent.
Putting in a bunch of work?
Yeah, you got you a big old job in the big old city.
Yeah, I got a new job that's a lot more flexible for what I want my lifestyle to be. So now it's fully remote, so I can go move to like Haber, Montana or something and live in the middle of the woods, or not the woods, in the prairie, and not see another person for an hour of driving.
That's a nice space ferret you got going on there.
Oh, thank you. I've been working on it.
Yeah.
A few months.
Good. Sasquatch proofs. So I got one of your paintings. I think Cheese Bear got what, 2 of them?
Cheese Bear's got a couple.
Mexican Longhair's got at least 1 of them.
He's
1 or
got
2.
3 of them.
3. I had heard that he got 3, but I wasn't flexing over there. I see how he doing.
Yeah, I'm working on one right now. It's 36 by 48 inches, so it's going to be.
That's pretty good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, dude. You know what I'm going to say though, right?
Just make some more videos.
I will say it. I will say it.
Well, now I have to know.
Well, no, I mean, that's what I was going to say. More live streams.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm planning on doing some soon. I've just, had to adjust to all these new jobs and school coming back into session, too. So I've just been busy, but I should have time. Hopefully this weekend.
Do your life first, man. I'm just jerking your damn chain. That's all.
I've been wanting to. That's the thing, is it's just I think I finally have some time coming up soon, and I think I'm going to.
It is addicting.
Yeah.
If you get with good people.
Have you checked out any of his live streams? Have you checked out any of Tom's? Oh, Tom, do you know Wandering Hippie? I'm sorry.
I feel like I've seen you on a couple live streams of.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a panel horse, so probably.
Yeah. He's everywhere you want to be.
Fair enough.
So, this is Tom from An Abstract Look. He's another previous guest I had on the show, and he's the one that did this painting behind me right here.
Cool. Nothing like an artist, man. I dig that.
Thank you. It's fun life.
Beautiful. There's a whole bunch of videos on his channel of him doing the various artwork that we're talking about.
Where I'm from is a very famous art place, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, man.
Oh, okay.
It's very artsy out here. The whole place is an art gallery.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, Denver is kind of like an art hub now. It's just because it's got such a big population for the area it's in. But I think there's definitely better places I could be putting my artwork for more exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something my pops always told me. You can go anywhere on this planet and do as well as you can do. But if you're the best, it doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah, that's what I'm striving to be. Yeah. I was actually looking at I've been doing a lot of research on how I can start getting my work sold for Pablo Picasso prices.
Right.
And it turns out the majority of the entire art market in the world is in 3 places, and
Uh-huh.
that's New York City, Hong Kong, and I think London, UK. So like,
London and Milan also has a big art scene. Huge.
yeah, it's just insane. That's like, it's just concentrated to those tiny areas most of the time. So like, I could mail stuff there.
Good night, Kevin. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
All right, so you pretty well got your work life fairly well squared away for the moment. Are you going to move out of your parents' basement?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, dude. I can't wait.
Bro, I'm gonna
Maybe
be
we'll
like,
fly west and help you.
oh man, I'm literally, as soon as I move out, like, I'm gonna have a whole room just as like an art gallery and painting studio. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yep. We're going to get that bitch right up. We're going to make that happen.
Oh, have to.
Yes, sir. All right, so what we were doing is we were looking into missing, lost, and found people, things and objects and whatnot. I had considered doing like parts and whatnot, and I was going to ask. I had a bunch of people that I had planned on coming in, but when I sent my email, I put the wrong date in the email, and then scheduled it for the wrong time, and so it all got screwed up, and I ended up with Hippie and you because I'm terrible at this job.
Hey, listen, let me show you something real quick, bro. Last night I was on a live stream and somebody didn't like who was on there, so look at what they did. They sent me $50 and they said, kick him from the party right now and you can have that $50. And of course I couldn't do it. I couldn't kick the guy, but that's the first time I got a $50 donation to kick somebody from the party. I was going to use that on you after you said that about him moving out of his mother's basement. Damn.
Well, it's not quite the basement. I live in my parents' house, but in my own room. They got a hot tub, so like.
I'm just fucking with you, Tom. I'm sorry.
Hey, Tom, my son is 32. He lives in my house as well. So
nothing wrong with it. The economy these days has been shit.
To be truthful, brother, it helps me as well, so it kind of works both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Me and my brother and sister kind of took turns staying out there with Pops. After Mama died, we kind of, I don't know, it was never even discussed. We didn't talk about it about a week. I think my sister moved in next door a week or two before I moved out. And my brother moved in with Pops 2 weeks after I moved out. So he was never alone. Not once. And it wasn't even discussed. We didn't even talk about it. I was like, I'm done. I got to go. I'm going to town. I'll be back eventually. But I got to go. Whew.
Well, listen, I got to bounce out here, brother. I got to do something for my wife.
I appreciate you coming
wonderful. By. Nice meeting you, new guy here. I forget your name already.
Tom.
Yeah, see, that's an easy name.
He's a good egg.
Smoking too much weed. But I got to go, Brian. I'll catch you later. Peace.
All right, so we got Ron Sivan. I see you, buddy. You can bring up if you've got a thing. I don't know if you got a thing. Come on in, baby. What you doing? Hey.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
How you doing?
How you doing, Sasquatch?
I'm good.
Just hanging with you and watching the videos.
Right. Okay. So Tom, what we were doing, like I said, we were going through some videos. I got some missing person cases, some time travel stuff. We've made it all the way up to the Bob Gimlin things. Are you familiar with Bob Gimlin?
Nope.
All right. He is one of the best narrators on YouTube. He's up there with Hammerson Peters. He's excellent. His art is simple and effective. It's got a very similar flavor and a similar type of style, but whereas Hammerson Peters focuses mostly in the North Canadian myth and stuff, Gimlin does more of just a general North American mythology and missing persons and all kinds of stuff. He does all kinds of stuff. Covers all sorts of stuff. So we're going to finish it up. And then I got one more video after that if we've got time. We'll see. And Carrie, if you want to come up, I'm not bringing your ass out drunk. That's not happening. But you can hang out backstage until I turn off YouTube, and then we'll talk to you. All right? All right. He knows why, too. He knows exactly what's up. I'm not playing that game.
And reporting it when there were no natives to propagate the legend. We are seeing two entirely different and separate cultures report the same thing with different words and no communication, no transfer of knowledge. This would not happen if the subject was fictional. It is impossible. And we didn't even know what to call them. Gorilla, escaped crazy person, a wild man. So if Sasquatch was not in the people's language, what were they going to call it? Well, they knew it was giant, man-like, and hairy, so that leaves wild man and gorilla. And it is very unlikely that people were seeing a gorilla because the lowland gorilla was not even verified by modern Western science until 1847. After the species was verified in 1847, many attempts were made to capture and bring gorillas to the US for profit. There were only a few successfully retrieved gorillas, the first being in 1855. Literally none of them survived longer than a month after arriving to the US. This is due to the gorilla being able to contract human diseases but having no ability to fight them. Improper diet, and I would guess the largest factor, stress, also led to the death of captive gorillas between 1855 and 1925. Well-respected zoologist William Temple Hornaday said in 1915 that, quote, "There is not the slightest reason to hope that a gorilla, male or female, will ever be seen living in a zoological park or garden." It seems unlikely that a gorilla could survive the trip from Africa to the East Coast, then in a circus to Ohio, and then in the wilderness of Ohio in 1901, when a zoologist said in 1915 that we would never even be able to keep a gorilla alive ever. The articles weren't even describing a gorilla, really. People in 1897 probably had never even seen an actual gorilla. Articles called the gorilla over 6 feet tall and described a biped. Neither descriptions match a gorilla. Closest would be the mountain gorilla, which was not even verified by Westerners until 1903, 5 years after. So gorilla is out. Next is wild man. This obviously was no wild man. Being wild does not give you superhuman strength, which is described in the articles. If anything, a wild human would be malnourished and weak, and anything but, quote, unfindable to search parties and dogs. Being wild also does not naturally cover you in, quote, long matted hair, as is also described in the articles. I mean, these people had no idea what they were seeing, and they were trying to categorize it because that's what we as human beings do. To me, it really seems like people were reporting things that there simply was not a name for. Something that their language didn't have a word for, but others did. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think, and thanks a lot for listening.
You know, I was actually, I was watching this, or no, I wasn't watching this. One of my friends was telling me about some show some guy was on about Sasquatches, and he was like, you know, I thought I caught a Sasquatch once. I actually had something in my cage. And I actually killed it, but it turned out it was a feral man. It wasn't really a Sasquatch or anything. And then the guy announcing on the show was like, just pulled one of his people aside, and he's like, "There's no such thing as like feral humans just running around. I'm pretty sure that guy just killed a man and got away with it."
No, dude, there's totally I don't know if you'd call them feral humans. There are certainly uncounted individuals that exist completely off the grid, like uncounted. I mean, I know of at least 2 families that regularly relocate just on the basis of people knowing where they're at. Whole families. Pack up all their shit and move to a whole nother part of the county just because somebody showed up where they live. I don't guess they're actually gypsies. I don't know. I don't ask.
Could be.
I was going to say that's a different kind of paranoia.
Whole nother level, buddy.
Yeah, let me just go find another house real quick.
Oh no! They live in They live. One of them has 2 converted buses and a full motorhome, like one of the big ones, like a coachman type fifth wheel. And the other ones are staying in these. It's like the type of camper that you put in the bed of a truck, and they'll just load all of them up. They'll like go make 10 trips. They'll go load up the whole house, take the whole family to a different campground over yonder somewhere.
Huh.
On a Tuesday, just for shits and giggles. I don't know.
I've seen
Weird people
stories
do
about the one in Ohio. I thought they named him the Grassman or something.
The Ohio Grassman's its own thing. It's like the Florida Rod Bender. Bigfoot Anon was good enough to tell me about the Florida Rod Bender, who apparently infiltrates construction sites in Florida and bends the rebar so that it makes it more difficult to build the buildings.
Huh.
That's the story. I don't know what to tell you.
Something.
And they say they're known for breaking branches in the Sasquatches and Bigfoots out Northwest.
All right. So this is one thing that I did see. And I just thought about it when you said something about breaking branches. I found, and I don't even know how to explain this. I found a tree upside down in the middle of the woods. The top of the tree was in the ground, and the roots were sticking straight up. And it was in a bunch of other trees that were perfectly normal.
That makes no sense.
No sense at all. And I've heard of these things. I mean, I'll show you. It's a thing that happens.
You heard of Les Stroud?
Yeah, Les Stroud's a beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's somebody that knows the outdoors and that. And he had that one, some kind of like I wouldn't say encounter, but he was doing his little show or whatever out in the woods. I think it was Alaska, and he was hearing sounds, and he's like, "I've heard sounds throughout woods everywhere." He goes, "I've never heard this sound." And he kept listening, and he kept hearing the noises and that. It's like there's a whole episode. I subscribed to him on YouTube.
Yeah.
He still posts videos.
Well, I'm in a bit of a tornado and hurricane type area. An upside down tree ain't that terribly rare around here. I mean, it does happen. But I've never seen one stuck into the swamp like that. That thing would have had to come straight down, because the way the trees were around it, there's no way it got drug in. It would have had to fall in straight out of the sky or been carried there. I remember standing and looking at that damn thing. I stopped and stood there, smoked me a joint, stared at it, and just walked all the way around it. It was maybe big around as my thigh. Maybe, I don't know, 6-7 inches thick, yay big around. It was just
something possible to break.
That down. Weirdest shit I ever saw. Thing was, what really fucked with my head is there were actually a couple of negative. There were actually a couple of limbs that were also stuck into the mud. Right? So it wasn't just like a trunk stuck down in a little clump of roots. I mean, it was a pretty good ball of roots. Still had a little dirt stuck to it. But it was like a fish prong stuck in the mud, standing just dead straight upright. You could have put a plum on it. I just stood there, was like, that had to be a tornado or something. There's no two ways. It had to weigh half a ton, man. It's 15, 20 foot tall.
Something no man's going to pick up.
Upside down, super strong, Bigfoot moving trees upside down. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. Right. Apparently, it's a fairly common thing out west, but I ain't never seen it here.
Alaska, native guy from Alaska. And I'll tell you what, if I could encourage any of you to go visit anywhere, it's 100% Alaska. I love Alaska. Alaska is absolutely amazing. And, you know, you've seen a lot of my backgrounds where I hunt, fish, and live. I mean, British Columbia is nothing to laugh at, but we have some stunning, beautiful, let's face it, the whole planet's got stunning, beautiful places in nature, but Alaska is something else. If you can, do one of those coastal cruises and check it out, man. It's Alaska's just amazing. And this is an interesting encounters, experiences relayed to us through this guy. Definitely appreciate him doing this. And you know, coincidentally, just point out a couple things. I'm standing here.
It doesn't have it written in there. It shows it, but it's not there. I can't find it. Now, apparently there's a few places around where trees are stuck upside down for some reason, occasionally. Let's see. That's the name of the channel. Upside down trees.
I wonder about the gorilla theory, because have they ever really taken a gorilla out of like the environment they are in and then put one in the northern hemisphere and just let it go and see and follow it, like track it, you know?
Well, I don't know about that, but I can tell you that there are several troops of macaques in Florida. There's a few groups of chimps and at least one semi-wild bonobo running free in Florida. And I can almost swear to you there's at least one orangutan. And God knows what else.
Florida's a different thing, though, because it's kind of got a lot of tropical weather.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking like drop one in northern North America or in Canada somewhere, you know, and just put a collar on it with a tracking device.
I don't think that would be fair. I don't think that would actually work it out, because what you're actually talking about is taking a 12 or 15-year-old animal that has learned to live its life in the Gabon and dropping him in northern Dakota. He's not going to be able to survive there. Even if he physically could, he's not going to eat the right bugs or the right plants or the right mushrooms. He's from the wrong part of the world. Now, like you said, in Florida, that's a whole nother ball game there, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a fighting chance. Louisiana, I would argue that Louisiana is probably the best place to find a loup-garou or a Sasquatch or a chupacabra if you wanted to find one. Because if they was hiding, that's where they would hide. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of wilderness and swamp area.
Hell, there's a lot of swamp in Georgia, in places you wouldn't expect them to be, because we have beavers. Lots of beavers. All right, what do we want to look at now, folks? We got the floor. Any suggestions?
No. I told you I'm into Bigfoots and all that, but I'm into a lot of mystery stuff and
Bigfoots
or unexplained stuff.
I like the unexplained in almost every case. Let's see if there's anything recent about Bigfoot. Anything new? Got a bunch of shorts, apparently. Stalking Russell Expedition. That should be
a lot of people sit there and say, "Oh, why haven't we seen one?" It's like, you know, have you ever been in the woods and not see a deer? I've been up in the woods hundreds of times and not seen a deer.
I was sitting, all right. When I was about 14, I learned a damn good lesson about what you do and do not perceive. I went hunting, and I posted up in this particular little blind that we had constructed from vines out in the middle of nowhere. There's a long straightaway right in front of you, and there's water on both sides, and there's really only one way to come in and one way to go out. And you basically have to either walk straight by the person in the blind to get in from behind you. There's no way to get through any other way. It's the one way to get from past the two swamps that it divides, right? So I'm posted up in the blind, and I'm sitting there, and it starts getting a little too dark to see, and it's no longer safe to hunt. So I stand up, put my rifle on my shoulder, turn, and there are 6 deer laying down behind me, just chilling. When I stood up, they shit themselves and took off. But they had completely went to sleep sitting behind me while I was hunting them. I just waved at them as they left. I was like, good on you, mate. The natives called that counting coup. Some of this
I liked
is
that one.
kind of silly.
I like that one story too. What was the guy went up with all the bears? You end up getting killed, him and his girlfriend.
Right? Oh my God! Never saw that coming. Predators eating prey. No way.
Documented most of that stuff too.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he brought us an immensity of understandings about what's going on in the world. You know, of grizzlies. But dear monkey lords, why in the world would you go out there and just feed yourself to a giant dog?
It's I don't know. Some people, though, are so, it's not even daring. It's just they feel like it's their duty or they're part of nature and they can do it. Kind of like the Dr. Doolittle theory.
Well, they're part of nature now for sure. Making a good fertilizer.
Have y'all heard about the Sasquatch sighting?
Sasquatch?
Have you heard about the Sasquatch?
Was that a Trailer Park Boys reference from the TV show?
No, there's a Mysterio Sasquatch on the loose on YouTube.
Oh.
He's apparently going after mustachioed long hair and pistachioed long nuts.
Is that hairy nuts?
I don't know who pistachioed is. He looks a lot.
Pistachioed long neck? Is that what you said?
Pistachioed long nuts.
Long nuts. Oh.
Yeah. Hairy nuts is pistachioed long nuts. Mexican long hair is mustachioed long hair. And somebody has taken on the name of Mysterio Sasquatch.
A new fad. Mexican long hair started something.
Hey, dude, I told him first time I saw that shit. I was like, dude, you don't want me involved in that. That's way too much fucking fun. And I ain't got nothing else to do.
Oh, no. There might be a...
Hey, that might be the new thing, man. You might want to jump into it now.
Right?
There might be a normal look coming around or something.
Be the scary one out of them all.
I usually am. Just about any time I'm involved, I'm usually the scary one. That's true.
Well, you got the beard that fits. You got the gray and on each side of the little brown streak.
You're like a little vampire.
Just add a big brown wig, man, and
I'm gonna get me some. Did you know? I don't know if y'all noticed on when Harry did it when pistachioed long nuts did his video. He was wearing the nose attached to a set of Ray-Bans instead of being attached to like the cheap ass glasses.
Yeah,
I'm like, Mexican Lawyer don't even realize he just got flexed on by a master. He ain't even noticed it. I caught that shit the very second I turned it on. I went, wait a second. That's about
they don't think the right
$800 worth of glasses on that man's face. Oh boy,
it's humorous. Definitely humorous.
This is officially Forest of Monsters. Have you seen his episode yet?
What page was it?
Officially Forest of Monsters.
No, I've never seen that one. May have to subscribe.
Well, I hosted his. I hosted him when he first started out his YouTube channel, He came from TikTok. I asked him if he saw pixies, would he take a picture of it and tell people, or try to capture one like he's trying to capture Bigfoot? And he got mad at me. And I was like, dude, I'm just saying, like, if you're out there looking for Bigfoot, if you found a pixie while you were looking, would you tell anybody? Or would you just keep that one to yourself? I might keep it to myself.
I think so too. I've seen that live. I think I seen that live you were on.
Yeah.
Because I remember that question, you guys talking about it.
Oh, he got mad. I seen it happen. I was like, no, hold up. And he's deaf, so it's like really hard to talk to him anyway. Oh, Lord. All right, we're fixing to jump backstage with mandatory care and everybody else that happens to be back there. I'm going to shut down YouTube, and y'all know what that means. Tom, you got anything planned for the future, brother?
Maybe. I think maybe might do something this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday night, maybe.
I'll be waiting on bated breath.
We'll see what happens.
Right,
no
brother.
guarantees, but I think I'll be able to swing it.
I'm not going to try to make you do nothing. You know how it is. How about you there? You got anything planned for the week?
Just doing some spring cleaning. That's about it.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's great. No, I need to do it myself. I've been kind of edging around it, trying to get there. All right, so I'm going to jump backstage. We're going to do the whole thing back there. And wait, no, I screwed the pooch. Let me do this right. I got to do it right. Bam, there we go. All right. And so, yeah, I want to thank everybody that showed up, all of you. I know that there's plenty of other stuff out there you could be watching, and instead you're over here listening to this silliness. And that's really all it is a bunch of silliness. We just check out things that interest us, and I like to show it to you. I like to bring you things that interest me, and it seems to interest other people. So we may do more of these. I'm going to try to get back to doing the Sasquatch shields after Pop's birthday and my daughter's things they got to do. Maybe another week. But I might try to get Ron in here to come be my premiere episode. How's that sound?
That don't sound bad. Sounds good.
All right, man. We'll get you the emails and we'll get you to hook it up. But y'all know what that means, right? Y'all know how that plays? Yeah?
I think so.
I need to do a paleontologist thing. I got to turn a bunch of stuff off before I can turn that one on. Because you know what it means, right?
Paleontologist?
It's not even doing it. Why not? What in the hell? All right. Anyway.